It took Miami's expansion Dolphins 4 years to emerge from the wilderness. But when they did, the team found that edifice called the Orange Bowl could be like a palace. In the early years, empty seats stretched endlessly as far as the eye could see. Today, those same seats are filled with fans who not only cheer for the Dolphins, but try to look like them too. The past several years, there's been plenty for Orange Bowlers to see. In 1970, after 4 years of futility, Miami made the playoffs, and last year bettered that by winning a championship and playing in the Super Bowl. It seems difficult to improve upon that record, but this year's Dolphins just might do it. They seem to have undergone the transformation from a surprise team to perhaps the strongest, most respected club in the entire National Football League. In 1972, they remained the single unbeaten team in pro football. The reasons are many. Fine young players who have blossomed under the unerring care of head coach Don Shula. But Shula has installed more than talent and discipline, for the Dolphins are a closely knit team in the truest sense of the word. Their potential seems unlimited. The San Diego Chargers are a team in another sense. Though the franchise is one of the original ones in the old AFL, the Chargers are really just getting to know one another. Coach Harlan Savari has brought in hordes of veteran players by way of trades, and his program seems to be working. This once was the team of the lightning bolt, the quick strike, and bold thrust. Now the bolt remains mostly as a symbol, as the team depends more upon a vastly improved defense. Last Sunday in Miami, they were to meet their sternest test in the NFL Game of the Week, the San Diego Chargers versus the Miami Dolphins.
Rick Weaver, Lou Creekmer, and Henry Barrow back at a sun-drenched Orange Bowl in Miami. Detweiler and Jones waiting for the opening whistle. Garo Yepremian slaps his hands together, and this ball game, as the Dolphins are going for 5 straight during the regular season, is underway as Garo comes forward, gets the toe into it. He drills it high and deep, way back in the end zone. There'll be no run back. It is down by Jones, and the Chargers will start from their 20-yard line. Setting them for you offensively, John Hadel, the quarterback. Garrison and Dykes will be the wide receivers. Garrett and Edwards will be the running backs. Norman, the tight end. Owens and Washington will be the tackles. Wilkerson and Sweeney, the guards. Mock, the center. Denherter, Fernandez, Dunaway, and Stanfill on the front four. Swift, Bonacani, Colin, the linebackers. Foley, Johnson, the cornerback. Scott and Anderson, the safeties. Hadel sets his ball club and sends Garrison in motion off to the far side. On the snap, hands off to Garrett, through a hole on the left side, and he is stacked up the 22-yard line by the Dolphins' no-name defense. Smothered by white jerseys is Mike Garrett. Garrett coming in, tackle on the play made by Colin and Stanfield. Garrett coming in has run for 388 yards. He has a 4.0 average. He scored 3 touchdowns on the ground and has also caught a touchdown through the air. The ball at the 22, a gain of 2, it'll be 2nd down and 8. Garrison is split off the near side, Dykes to the far side. In the eye, here's Hadel. The pitch going to Garrett, sweep to the right side, gets the corner turn, 25, 30, 35, 40 across the 40, and he is dropped up at the Chargers' 43-yard line. As Doug Swift had to come drifting across to make the tackle on the play. A 21-yard gain by Mike Garrett. And the Chargers display that vaunted running attack of theirs. Hadel not throwing as much this year. He's mixing quick screens with the running game. They led the AFC in offense last year, and he was the leading passer. And they're a ball control team now. So Garrett runs for a 1st down at the Chargers' 43-yard line. Hadel splits off double wide receivers, Dykes and Garrison to the near side. Now Garrison goes in motion off to the far side. Here's the handoff. Sid Edwards trapped through the middle. He booms his way into Dolphins territory across the 50 down at the Dolphin 49. The tackle made by Dick Anderson, the strong safety, and weak side linebacker Mike Poland.
Rick, we're seeing some fine blocking on that offensive line from San Diego, but right now they're making some holes against the Miami defense.
A 2nd down coming up as the ball is at the Dolphins 49-yard line. A 2nd down and about 2. Hadel splits off Garrison and Dykes to the near side. He sets Edwards and Garrett as the men in the eye behind him from the Dolphin 49. Handoff to Sid Edwards. He is hit at the 50 and thrown for a loss by Bill Stanfill, the Dolphins' right side defensive end. Number 84, the 4-year veteran from the University of Georgia. They put it down at the midfield stripe as Stanfill was waiting for Edwards that time, and it's a loss of a yard. They put the ball down back at the 50-yard line, so it'll be a 3rd down and 3 coming up. The Dolphins' no-name defense has the regular alignment in there right now. The fans set up the Howell defense. Dyke splits to the far side. Garrison to the near side. Hadel drops to throw his first pass. Being pursued. Swings one out. It is dropped by Edwards. Incomplete. Back at the 47. In Chargers territory. They were looking for the screen that time. And Hadel fake left. Dropped back to his right and hit Edwards, but he couldn't hold on to the football. So that brings up a 4th down, and Dennis Partee, the field goal kicker, comes in. Let's see if they're going to try a field goal, or he's also the punter. He is 7 for 7 in the field goal department, 8 for 8 on the point afters. He has 29 points, and he's going to punt. Back as the deep man, Charlie Lee. Lee has an 8.8-yard average punt return. Partee averaging 43.5 yards per kick. Anderson is the shallow man. Line of scrimmage to 50. Partee stands at the Charger 35, takes the snap. He booms the beauty out of there. Hangs a nice high spiral up. Down the near side, bounces at the 5. Takes a sideways bounce and is down by the Chargers at the Dolphins' 4-yard line. A 46-yard punt that time, and he hung it up high, and he squibbed it down inside, and it was down by the Chargers' coverage. And so the Dolphins do not have good field position to operate from. Sam Grunison is the man who downed it. The Dolphins put the ball in play from our 4-yard line. Defensively for the Chargers, Deacon Jones, Ronnie, Dave Costa, Lionel Aldrich, the front 4. Bob Babbitt, Pete Lazatich, Rick Redmond, the linebackers. Bob Howard, Leonard Dunlap are the cornerbacks. Joe Beauchamp and Chuck Detweiler are the safeties. Mercury Morris, Larry Zonka, the running backs, in behind Greasy. Twilly splits to the right side, and to the near side is Paul Warfield. First down, Dolphins in our 4. Here's a handoff. Zonka over the left side, carrying a tackler with him. Gets out to about the 9-yard line. Dave Costa, the right tackle, got a free ride for about 3 yards. Costa is a 10-year man from Utah, was picked up by Harlan Saveri from the Denver Broncos. And they're going to put it down at the 8-yard line, so it gives Zonka a gain of 4. And it'll be a 2nd down coming up and 6 for the Dolphins. Morris and Zonka are the running backs. Greasy the quarterback. Mara Fleming the tight end. Howard Twilly and Paul Warfield are the wide receivers, and they both split off to the far side. The ball at the Dolphins' 8. 2nd down and 6. Greasy sets the ball club, waiting for the snap from center. A long count. He takes the snap, flag down. Here's the handoff to Morris, trying to come around the left side. Gets across the 10 out to about the 12 before he's dropped by the right cornerback, Leonard Dunlap. But there was a flag down before the play even got underway. And it looks like it's going to be against the Chargers. Penalty against San Diego. Defensive offside.
Rick, I wouldn't be surprised if that was called against Deacon Jones. Deacon really had great pursuit on that play, and maybe the reason he was all the way over on this side of the field is because he was the one that was offside. Really pursued the play.
We'll watch that because Greasy found out that Deacon likes to get off that line earlier, and he staggered his count against the Rams in the Rams game at the Coliseum last year. And so the offside penalty puts the ball up to the 13-yard line. It'll be a 2nd down and 1 for the Dolphins. Kick comes in, and Morris is out. The ball is replaced position now at the 13.5-yard line. Twilly splits to the far side. Warfield to the near side. Kick and Zonka, the split back. Behind Greasy, Dolphins ball at their 13. 2nd down, about a yard. Hand off to Kick. He pushes his way into the middle and gets to the 15. That should be enough for the 1st down. He was hit at the line of scrimmage but fell forward for the 1st down. The Dolphins pick up the 1st down. And getting up off the bottom of the pile is David Deacon Jones, the Secretary of Defense, the defensive left end, 11-year veteran from South Carolina State. The ball for the Dolphins at their 15. The Dolphins are moving from our right to our left, from east to west for this first quarter. 10 minutes, 49 seconds to go in the first period. The Chargers were unable to achieve what they wanted to in their first offensive sequence. They punted. The Dolphins starting this drive from our 4-yard line. 1st down from our 15. Here's Greasy. Fakes the handoff. Play action. Drops the throw. Plenty of time down the near side. Warfield makes the catch at the 34-yard line and is driven out of bounds. 1st down, Dolphins. Tackle made by the right cornerback, Leonard Dunlap. 1st down as Greasy hits Warfield on the first pass completion of the afternoon. Not only do the Chargers use a zone, but with Willie Wood as the defensive backfield coach, they'll go back into a man-for-man, too. The old Packer man-for-man defense.
Rick, that's great quarterback, and I'll be half at Greasy. For him to have his back up against the wall and bring that ball out here over the 30, that's really great quarterbacking.
19 yards on the pass completion to Warfield. Twilley splits to the far side. Warfield to the near side. Kick and Zonker, the I-backs, in behind Greasy. First down, Dolphins from our 34-yard line. Bob at the line of scrimmage. Barks the signal. Hands off on a counter to Kick, and he is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. They were waiting for that one. And the tackle on the play made by Deacon Jones.
Our good friend Deacon again right in there, Rick. He's really coming across.
No gain on the play. It'll be a second down and 10. We'll keep you posted on the World Series, progress of the World Series game. That one just getting started, and also the other NFL scores this afternoon. The Buffalo Bills here next week as the Dolphins are home again. We'll have it for you on WIOD and these Dolphin Network stations beginning at 12:50. Warfield splits near side, Twilley to the far side. Second down and 10. Dolphins from our 34-yard line. Greasy on the snap. Drops to throw. He's looking for Twilley. He fires. He can't hold it at the 40-yard line. The defensive back over there was all over him, Bob Howard. And he's a veteran. He's played 6 years in this league, all with San Diego. And the pass is incomplete. It'll be a third down and 10. Dolphins football at the Dolphin 34-yard line. Taking a look at the end of the first inning, Oakland and Cincinnati, 0-0 in the World Series. That's at the end of one, 0-0. The A's against the Cincinnati Reds. Twilley splits to the far side. Warfield to the near side. Kick and Zonka, the split backs behind Greasy. A third down and 10. Dolphins ball at our 34-yard line. Greasy up under center. Barks the signals on the snap. Drops straight back to throw in the pocket. He is being rushed, and he has to eat it. Fumbles the ball, but the Dolphins recover it. The Dolphins recover it back at the 27. Larry Little fell on it, and they broke through on him that time. Deacon Jones, along with Ron East, were the fellows in there to get him. And Larry Little recovered it for the Dolphins back at the 26, so that brings up a punting situation.
Norm Evans really been having a hard time out there with Deacon, and I'm sure that Norm is talking to himself right now. He's got to do something better the next series.
They put Mike Garrett back as the deep man to receive the kick, and Chuck Detweiler is the shallow man. Larry Seipel does the punting. He's averaging 42 yards. The line of scrimmage, the Dolphins 26. He's standing back at the 11-yard line. Neither team able to move the football or first offensive sequence. Here's the kick. He almost got it blocked. He gets it out of there. They put on a good rush. Garrett makes the fair catch for the Chargers at their 34-yard line. So that's where they'll put the ball in play as they put on a good rush on Seipel that time. That snap was a little bit low. He got the kick out of there. And we got a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score, the Chargers 0 and the Dolphins 0. The Chargers, after a 40-yard punt by Larry Seipel, have field position at their 34. And Hadel splits off Dykes and Gary Garrison, his two wide receivers to the near side. Edwards and Garrett are the splitbacks. The handoff goes to Garrett over the left side. He drives his way through across the 35 up to about the 39-yard line. Mike Garrett, the 7-year veteran from USC, the tackle by middle linebacker Nick Bonacani. Gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5. Both ball clubs had the football for one previous sequence. Were unable to do anything with it. And this is the second time the Chargers have had it now. As we have 8 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first quarter, no score. Dykes splits far side, near side Garrison. Garrett and Edwards split backs behind Hadel. Hand off to Edwards, the fullback. He is cracked at the 40-yard line. Trying to find an opening, and it just wasn't there. And putting the shoulder into him was Captain Crunch, the Dolphins' weak side linebacker, Mike Colin, along with middle linebacker Nick Colin. They put the ball at the 41, so he did actually pick up a gain of 2. It'll be third down and 3.
Nick Bonacani is playing his usual great game out there, that middle linebacker spot. He put the pressure there that left the tackle for Colin on that last play.
This is a sparring match so far. Both teams probing, trying to find out what they can do against the other. Dykes split to the far side. Garrison also the far side. Now he's in motion to the near side. Hadel fakes the handoff, drops back to his left to throw. Fires in the middle. It was supposed to be a screen to Garrett, and it was thrown over his head, incomplete. Garrett on a slant in over the middle, and the ball was thrown behind him. Covering on the play was strong side linebacker Doug Swift, so that brings up a fourth down, and Partee is in to punt. Charlie Lee drops back as the deep man, Dick Anderson, the shallow man. We will announce on the Rolling Home Show for our WIOD and Miami listeners at the conclusion of our play-by-play who our selection is for our Rick Weaver WIOD Dolphins Specialty Team Award. This will be presented on our talk show, 8 o'clock Monday night on WIOD, and that announcement will be made on the Rolling Home Show following our play-by-play this afternoon. Partee standing back at the 26, gets the snap, wobbles a kick off the side of his foot, and it's going to go out of bounds after a very short distance. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Let's see where they're going to mark it. The Dolphins put on a good rush on him that time, and he got it off the side of his foot, and it's going to go out at the 50-yard line. So the Dolphins come up with excellent field position as Partee gets off what amounts to a 9-yard kick. And the Dolphins have excellent field position at the midfield stripe. Out of the huddle they come. They send Warfield and Twilley as double wide receivers to the far side. Morris and Zonka are the I-backs. In behind Bob Greasy. On the snap, here's the pitch. Morris, sweep near side, turns the corner, 45, and he's run out of bounds at the 40-yard line by Joe Beauchamp, the weak safety. That kick by Partee, whether he took his eye off the ball or what happened, gives the Dolphins excellent field position. Larry Little, Norm Evans out in front of Morris that time, clearing the way. Did not pick up quite enough for a first down. It'll be second down less than a yard at the Chargers' 40.5.
You just don't look a gift horse in the mouth on that, Rick. You just take advantage of it. This could very well be the scoring situation that Miami needs.
Zonka is out, kick is in, and Morris and Kick form the Dolphins' backfield now. Twilley splits to the far side, Warfield to the near side. Second down, less than a yard at the San Diego 40.5-yard line. Greasy sets the Dolphins, hands off. Merck inside, puts his head down, and booms to the 39. That's good enough for a first down. Bob Babbage, a strong side linebacker, made the tackle on the play. Henry?
Should tell you, Rick, on that punt, it was the first chance I had to catch a ball in 15 years, and I blew it.
The ball is, the run by Morris is good for a first down, as we anticipated. The ball is now at the Charger 39-yard line. Dolphins moving from our right to our left. 6:45 left to go in the first quarter, no score. Warfield splits left to the far side is Twilley. Morris is back in. Or check it, Morris stays in. He and Kick are the splitbacks in behind Greasy from the Charger 39. Greasy fakes the handoff to Morris, drops the throw, sets up, firing deep. Down there is Twilley. It is knocked away. At the 5-yard line, check it. It was Jim Kick who was down there, was the deep man. It was knocked away by Bob Howard, the left cornerback. And shaken up on the play is Greasy.
Yeah, it looks like his right ankle, Rick. It may be right here. He may have to go out of the ball game.
Let's go down to Henry. Henry, what can you see down there?
It is his right ankle. They're working on it. They just called for the team doctor. Trainer Bob Lundy called for the team doctor, and he's out on the field now.
Did he get hit? Or did he slip?
I was watching the play downfield develop. I'm trying to get a good look at it now, Rick. They've got the team doctor, the trainer. Trainer's coming off the field right now.
His left ankle was right ankle. Defensive lineman.
We just found out that his right ankle was stepped on by a defensive lineman.
Well, we certainly hope there is nothing wrong here. Kick was the open man, and Howard lunged from his left cornerback spot at the last moment and got a hand on it and knocked that pass away at the 5-yard line, but Greasy is shaken up on the play. Henry?
Rick, I hate to say this, but it looks like they've gone into the dressing room to get the stretcher.
Uh-oh.
It is the stretcher they're bringing out on the field now, so this is a serious injury to Bob Greasy, which they're bringing 2 stretchers, as a matter of fact. They're bringing the one that will take him right to the ambulance.
Earl Morrill will go in at quarterback and is already in there. This will be Morrill's first action in this ball game. He has thus far on the season thrown just 1 pass and has completed it for 23 yards. No TDs or no interceptions. The 17-year veteran, the Dolphins acquired from the Baltimore Colts. And needless to say, we sincerely hope, for Bob Greasy's sake and the sake of this fine ball club, that this is not as serious as it would appear. Greasy was stepped upon by a Charger defensive lineman and is now being rolled off the field on the stretcher to the Dolphins dressing room, and we sincerely hope that we'll have good news to report to you. The Dolphins will have to adjust to Morrill, even though they work together all the time in practice sessions. He has a different cadence, and the fans are really fired up now. This Dolphin ball club could be 2, a second down and 10. At the Charger 39, as Bob Greasy's ankle has been injured. He's rolled off the field on a stretcher. Morrill ready to go to work. Twilley splits far side. Warfield on the near side. Here's the handoff to Morris. Bounds through the middle across the 35. Gets to the 34-yard line. A gain of about 5. Good blocking up front that time. A tackle on a play made by middle linebacker Pete Lazatich. Henry?
The preliminary diagnosis is a dislocated ankle.
A dislocated ankle is the preliminary diagnosis from the Dolphins bench. We've got a 3rd down and 5. Dolphins football at the Charger 34-yard line. Twilley switch to the far side. Warfield to the near side. Morris and Zonka are the split backs in behind Morrow from the Charger 34. Earl drops to throw. He sets. He fires. It's caught by Fleming. He's caught by one leg at the 30-yard line and dropped at the 30 by Chuck Detweiler, the strong safety. He was looking to see if anybody else was going to come up and blindside him, and he wisely just went down because there was no place that he could go, and that's going to be very close to a 1st down, and they're going to bring the chains in.
Rick, that looked like a checkoff. They all of a sudden ended up with about an 8-man line on Earl, and Earl decided the easy way to go would get Fleming out there, and he threw him that short pass.
The ball is just inside the Charger 30-yard line. It does not look from here as if they made it, and if they didn't, it'll be a 4th down and about 2 feet. 4th down and about 2 feet to go for a 1st down, and here comes Garo Yepremian's field goal team in. This early in the ball game, Shula playing it wisely will go for the field goal. This will be about a 37-yard attempt. Garo on the season has kicked 7 out of 13, his longest 51 yards against the Minnesota Vikings. This will be a 37-yard attempt, and this wind is kind of a crosswind. Morrow will hold. We have 5 minutes and 32 seconds to go. In this first quarter, Bob Greasy being injured in this first quarter with a preliminary diagnosis of a dislocated ankle. Waiting for the snap. Here it is, set down. The kick is up. He's got the distance. It's perfect. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl. With the score, our Dolphins 3 and the Chargers nothing. Rick Weaver, Lou Creekmer, and Henry Barrow back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Yepremian will get the football to kick it off. Chuck Detweiler, number 35, and Ray Jones, number 23 of the deep men. Detweiler to the far side, Jones to the near side. 37-yard field goal by Yepremian capped that drive. And the Dolphins, with 5:18 left to go in this first quarter, lead 3-0. But Greasy has been injured. Here is the kickoff. He gets it high and deep again. This will be out of the end zone. No run back. Garo doing his job. And thus far, he has to be the outstanding special teams performer for his kickoffs. He won in the Minnesota game, so the Chargers will start. Moving from our left to our right from their 20-yard line. They'll have Garrett and Edwards at the running back. John Hadle is the quarterback. The wide receivers, Chuck Dykes and Gary Garrison. And the Dolphins have a 3-0 lead. Out of the huddle they come. They split off Dykes and Garrison to the far side of the field. Waiting for the snap as Garrison comes in motion to the near side. Hadle fakes the handoff, swings a pass out to Garrison near side behind the line of scrimmage. Now gets across, looks for a hole, and is dropped at the 24. He was stutter stepping back and forth looking for the opening, and the tackle was made by Dick Anderson. Henry?
Rick, they're taking x-rays of Bob Greasy in the Dolphin dressing room right now. We've stationed our man Mike Garrick down there, and he'll let us know the minute they have the final diagnosis available. We just thought we'd keep you posted as to what's happening there.
Excellent. 2nd down and 6. Chargers football at their 24. Dykes near side, Garrison far side. Here's the pitch to Garrett. Sweep to the left side. Turns the corner. And he has cracked and belted out of bounds at the 27 on the far side of the field. Just as he got the corner turn, Bonacani came flying through the air and clotheslined him, along with right cornerback Curtis Johnson.
Was the ball carrier. He picked up
so the ball is going to be placed down at the 26, actually a 2-yard gain. It'll be a 3rd down coming up and 4 yards to go for a Charger 1st down from their 26. Henry?
One other thing we should note, the transformation in Earl Morrill. He's been here before. He's had to do it before. All of a sudden, he's become the team cheerleader on the sideline.
All right, Dykes splits to the far side. Garrison to the near side. Edwards and Garrett, the split backs behind Hadle. 3rd and 4. Quick step back. Fires for the far sideline. It is caught by Dykes out of bounds. Good enough for the 1st down at the 37. Just a quick out to the 2nd-year wide receiver, Chuck Dykes from Arkansas. And he is out of bounds on the far side at the 37-yard line, and the Chargers pick up a 1st down.
37-yard line.
We have 4 minutes, 27 seconds to go in this first quarter. Dolphins leading on a 37-yard Yepremian field goal by a score of 3-0.
That San Diego quarterback, Hadle's only been sacked 4 times this year. Man, he almost got the 5th one on that last play.
They break out of the huddle with Dykes and Garrison going as wide men to the far side. Garrett and Edwards are the split backs. In behind John Hadle. Here comes Garrison now in motion to the near side. Waiting for the snap from the 37. He fakes the handoff to Garrett. Goes for the sideline again, and Dicus this time cannot hold on to it. Good play fake by Hadel as he faked to Garrett coming to the near side and threw back to the far side to Dicus. And the pass was a little bit overthrown, and Dicus could not hang on to it. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 for the Chargers. The ball at their 37-yard line. The Dolphins had Bob Greasy injured with the preliminary diagnosis of a dislocated ankle here in this first quarter when he was stepped upon by a Charger defensive lineman. And Earl Morrill is now the Dolphins quarterback. Moving off to the far side as Hadel brings his ball club out as Dicus. To the near side is Garrison. Garrett and Edwards, the split backs. Back to throw. Hadel fakes a screen. Fires one to the near side. It is caught by Edwards across the 35, 40, 45, and the 50, and he's dragged down into Dolphins territory at about the 43-yard line by Jim Dunaway from behind. That one was a fake screen to the far side, and then sprinting back to the near side was Hadel, and he hit Edwards as the screen had set up on the near side, and he picked up excellent yardage and a first down into Dolphins territory at the 43-yard line, a gain of 19 yards on the screen pass to Sid Edwards, the fullback. And this is about as far as the Chargers have been able to get thus far against this Dolphin defense. 3 minutes, 44 seconds to go. In the first quarter, Dolphins leading 3-0. Hadel has his ball club on the move. He splits Garrison and Dicus to the near side of the field from the Dolphin 43-yard line. Waiting for the snap. Here it is. Handoff to Garrett through a hole on the left side inside the 40 and still going down to the 35-yard line. Goes little Mike Garrett. He's not so small when you get down there next to him at 5'9", 190. Great balance. Tackled by Manny Fernandez along with Jake Scott. Henry?
The X-ray has been completed on Bob Greasy. It is a dislocated right ankle.
A dislocated right ankle. I wonder how long that's going to keep him out. 2nd down and 2. The ball at the Dolphins' 35-yard line. Chargers in possession on their most serious drive of the afternoon. Dicus and Garrison split off the near side. Hadel ready to go to work. He spins. He hands to Edwards. Pounds inside and gets to the 31. That should be good enough for the first down. And more than enough down to the Dolphins' 31-yard line before he is picked up by Manny Fernandez, along with Nick Bonaconti, the middle linebacker. First down for the Chargers at the Dolphins' 31. And now we get Doug Swift out, Bob Matheson in as the Dolphins make their first adjustment on defense of the afternoon with the 53 defense. The ball is at the Dolphin 31-yard line. Out of the huddle come the Chargers as they split off wide. Dicus, the slot man right, is Garrison. On the snap, fake handoff, Hadel to throw. He throws out the near side. Garrett, 25-20, pushed out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Down the near sideline, Mike Cullen is the man who pushed him out, but not before another first down is achieved as Hadel beginning to unwind his offense. Henry?
Rick, you asked the question how long a dislocated ankle takes to heal. The team doctor says it can take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks for a dislocated ankle to heal.
Holy smokes. Matheson is out, and Doug Swift comes back in on the Dolphin defense. First down for the Chargers at the Dolphins' 13. This drive started back at the 20-yard line. 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the first quarter. Dolphins lead by 3-0, but the Chargers on the move.
Rick, you don't think about it. This is a great idea to have Jim Delgazer on that taxi squad. We may need him very soon.
All right, to the near side, Dicus, and Garrison goes in motion off to the far side. First down from the Dolphins' 13. Hadel hands to Edwards. He slips and falls and is contained at the line of scrimmage. No gain, right at the 13. He's fallen upon by Dolphins defensive left end, Vern Denherter. Let's see where they're going to put it down. His forward progress as he fell forward might... No, they put it down at the 13. He didn't get anything. And now John Mackey comes into the lineup, replacing Pettis Norman at tight end. Mackey, the former great star with the Baltimore Colts, just acquired by the Chargers a couple of weeks ago. 2nd down and 10 for the Chargers at the Dolphins' 13. Dicus splits off far side. Garrison, slot man left. Edwards and Garrett, the split backs. In behind Hadel on 2nd down and 10. Hadel drops straight back to throw. He sets. He fires. It is dropped by Dicus. A little turn-in hitch pattern at the 6-yard line. The ball was there, but Dicus spinning around in midair could not hold on to it. Curtis Johnson covered on the play. It'll be a 3rd down coming up and 10 for the Chargers from the Dolphins' 13-yard line. John Mackey is out, and Pettis Norman comes back in at tight end for the Chargers. Here comes Bob Matheson in on the Dolphins' defense, and Jim Dunaway is out. 1 minute, 28 seconds to go in the first period. Dolphins lead 3-0. Bob Greasy has been injured and could be out for as long as 8 weeks, according to the preliminary diagnosis. All right, split to the near side. Dicus Garrison, the slot man right, goes in motion to the far side of the field on 3rd down and 10. Hadel drops straight back to throw. He has time. He fires. It is caught by Norman, the tight end. He is knocked down at the 5-yard line. That is not going to be enough for a first down. The tackle by Dick Anderson just inside the 5. It'll be 4th down coming up and about 1.5 yards to go for a first down as the ball is at the 4.5-yard line.
That was the first time we saw the 53 defense this afternoon, Rick. And Matheson went to the weak side, and he had to get over there in front of that Washington, and there was no way he'd get around that 300-pounder.
We get a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score. Dolphins 3, Chargers nothing. This is Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. A short timeout that time from the officials. Again, they definitely signaled a timeout. They brought in Partee, the field goal kicker, and he just kicked a 12-yard field goal. So the score is tied 3-3. We apologize for the short timeout, but these timeouts are supposed to be 2 minutes long when they signify, and San Diego was definitely charged with a timeout there. So they have 2 left in the first half. Henry?
That was an interesting play. The coach had decided to go for the first down on that play, Harlan Sparry, and the quarterback called timeout and asked for the kicking team to come in for San Diego on that play.
All right, it's tied up 3-3 as we come back. Dennis Partee hits his 8th field goal out of 8 attempts this year, a 12-yarder, and it's tied up 3-3. That drive, an 80-yard drive. Charlie Lee and Mercury Morris are the deep men back with 56 seconds to go in the first quarter. Here is the kick by Partee. It's against the wind. Morris grabs it 3 yards deep, out to the 5, the 10, the 15, fumbles the football. I believe he recovered it back at the 25-yard line. He was hit. The ball bounced loose, but he was falling forward and fell on it at the Dolphins' 25. He recovered his own fumble. That field goal by Dennis Partee of the Chargers, which tied it up 3-3, 12 yards. In the second inning, at the end of 2 of the World Series, the Oakland A's lead Cincinnati 1-0. Dolphins will start from the 25-yard line. Earl Morrow is the quarterback in lieu of the injured Bob Greasy. 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Score tied, 3-3. Morris, Zonka, the I formation backs. Hand off to Zonka. Hits the right side, and he gets about 1 yard to the 26 before he is horse-collared by defensive tackle Dave Costa. It'll be a 2nd down and 9. As they put the ball just across the 25-yard line, they may not have time to get off another play here as the clock continues to move with just 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and there is the end of the first quarter. Dolphin action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 3 and the Chargers 3. At the second period, the Dolphins have a 2nd down and 9 at their 25.5. Jim Kick has come in replacing Mercury Morris. In case you just joined us, Bob Greasy suffered a dislocated ankle in the first quarter. Could be out for a great period of time. Earl Morrill is directing the Dolphins. The score is tied 3-3. Kick sets as a wingman left, and Howard Twilley is split off the near side. Waiting for the snap. Morrill fakes the handoff, drops the throw. He sets. He is firing deep for Twilley. He can't hold it. A great defensive play by left cornerback Bob Howard, who was sticking to him like glue down at the Chargers' 41-yard line. A deep pattern in the middle. The diagonal run by Twilley, and Howard was sticking right with him, and Morrill's pass was right there, but Howard knocked it away at the last moment. Let's get down to Henry Barrow.
Bob Greasy has now been taken to the hospital where they'll work on that ankle of his, which was diagnosed by the X-ray machine as dislocated with a possible slight fracture.
3rd down and 10, or check it, 9.5 we'll make it. Call it 9 for accuracy's sake. The ball at the Dolphins' 26. Mercury Morris has come back in, replacing Kick. Ian Zonker, the split backs. Paul Warfield splits far side. Howard Twilley to the near side. Score tied 3-3. Greasy injured. Here's the handoff. Morris bangs into the middle after a delay handoff from Morrill and gets out to about the 28, and that's all before he's hit by defensive end Deacon Jones. Dolphins suffering a severe blow with the loss of Greasy. And it's Larry Seipel coming in out of front. They place it down at the 29. Going back as the deep man is Mike Garrett. Number 20, he'll stand back at about the 20. Seipel will be kicking. That wind is really barreling in up here from the northeast. He'll stand back at about the 14-yard line. He will be kicking against the wind. Waiting for the snap. Here it is from the 29. No rush this time. He gets a nice high kick. The wind holds it up. Coming up is Garrett and makes the fair catch at the 38-yard line in Charger territory. So that's where they will start from, as Jesse Powell on the Dolphins specialty team is down to cover him.
8-yard line.
The Chargers will put the football in play from the 38. We have a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score tied 3-3. This is Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. The Chargers ready to go into operation after the punt. They have the football at their 38-yard line. The score is tied 3-3. We've just started the second quarter. John Hadel, the quarterback, on the snap. Here's the pitch to Edwards. Sweep to the right side. Gets the corner turn across the 40. Fumbles the ball. Goes out of bounds, and it'll still be San Diego's possession because he was the man who had the football, and that's the rule. If it fumbles, goes out of bounds, by the team in possession retains. Tackle on the play by Bonaconte and Swift in the linebacker spots. And the ball is being marked at about the 43-yard line. So it's a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5. Chuck Dicus and Gary Garrison are the wide receivers. They have tried to go to Garrison once this afternoon, and he's not been able to hold on to the football. Hadel is the quarterback. Sid Edwards and Mike Garrett the running backs. The tight end, Pettis Norman. They set Dicus and Garrison as double wide receivers to the far side. Here comes Garrison in motion now to the near side of the field. From the Charger 43. Handoff to Garrett. Fumbles the ball. It's grabbed in the air by the Dolphins. 35, 20, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown for Dick Anderson. On the pitch to Mike Garrett, he juggled the ball around. The ball was in the air when Dick Anderson, from his strong safety spot, gobbled it up in the air and run somewhere in the vicinity of 40 yards down the near sideline for a Dolphin touchdown. Now, you can run a fumble when it's in the air. So the Dolphins get their first touchdown, and the defense scores it for them. Morrow will hold for your Premians try 4 points. Here's the snap. Set down. The kick is up. And it is perfect. 13 minutes, 51 seconds left to go in this first half. The Dolphins 10 and the Chargers 3, and we'll keep it here to re-describe what happened on that play. It was a pitch to Garrett. He never did have the handle on the football, and the ball was loose in the air. It was bobbled around. Dick Anderson grabbed the ball. They're calling it about 37 yards now in the air and just raced in with it. Nobody touched them, and the Dolphins are out in front by a score of 10-3. Well, when your star quarterback gets hurt, the defense takes over and gets a touchdown for you, and that's the way it should be, and that's the way a well-balanced team operates. Now we'll see if the Chargers can come back from that mishap. Back is Jones to receive the kickoff to the far side, and Chuck Detweiler down the near side. That mistake at 13:51 of the second quarter, and Dick Anderson rumbling unofficially 37 yards for the touchdown. That is the first one he has scored this year, and of course the big play in his life was that 60-yard pass interception against the Colts in the AFC Championship game right here at the Orange Bowl last year. Henry?
We now have the official word on Bob Greasy. He suffered both a fracture and a dislocation of the right ankle, and it'll be a long time before he comes back.
So it's up to Morrill in this game, and it's up to Jim Delgado being activated after this game. Here is your Premier's kickoff against the wind. He gets it low. It's back at the goal line is Detweiler. There'll be a run back straight ahead of the 5, the 10, the 15 to the 20. Outside, he is hooked, gets away, runs for the far sidelines, and is smothered at the 25-yard line by Charlie Lee. Dolphin running back made the tackle over there. A 25-yard return. Let's make it 24. They're going to put it down at the 24-yard line by Chuck Detweiler. So the Chargers will try to move the football again against this Dolphin defense, which has given us field position all season long with Greasy out now until Morrill gets his bearings. His defense got us a touchdown on a recovered fumble run by Dick Anderson, and we lead 10-3. Dicus splits to the far side. To the near side is Garrison. Garrett and Edwards, the split backs behind Hadel. Hadel drops straight back to throw. He sets up. He fires in the middle. It is caught at the 40, up across the 40. Knocked down at the Chargers' 43-yard line is Chuck Dicus. Dicus slanting on the deep slant across the middle. Tackled by Nick Bonaconte and Curtis Johnson. But not before he picks up a first down. 19 yards on the pass completion from Hadel to Chuck Dicus. Dicus is the young man from Arkansas in his second year. The ball is at the Charger 42-yard line. Dolphins lead 10-3, 12:49 to go in this first half. Garrison splits to the far side. To the near side is Dicus. Here's the handoff going to Garrett. He hits the middle on a delay and gets about a yard, and he has really cracked. by Vern Denherter, who really threw the shoulder into him and almost decapitated him. Henry?
The San Diego bench is complaining bitterly that Mike Garrett never had possession of that ball, that it could not be advanced, could only be recovered, but it's already passed by, and it's Green Bay and Oakland all over again.
Yeah, that play occurred in the Green Bay-Oakland game when Jack Tatum ran back 104 yards a couple of weeks ago. It's distinguished between the officials on a muff and a fumble. Here's a handoff to Garrett on a trap. Hits straight ahead, gets out across the 50-yard line, and into Dolphins territory at about the 49. The tackle on the play, Bonaconte and Curtis Johnson. And the argument there, it's an official's judgment call. Does the man have possession of the football? But that play occurs so quickly that Anderson grabbed the ball and just rumbled in for the touchdown. So the Dolphins lead 10-3. It'll be 3rd down and 1 for the Chargers. The ball at the Dolphins' 49. They put in 2 tight ends now, John Mackey and Pettis Norman in there. Garrett and Edwards, the split backs, in behind Hadel. Here's the handoff to Edwards over the left side. He has hit and dropped at the 48. It's going to be very, very close as to whether he made it. Doug Swift, the linebacker from the right side, makes the tackle on the play. And Al Book, our spotter, is putting his glasses on it down there, and they're calling a timeout to bring the chains in from the near sideline for a measurement. And it's going to be very, very close. The ball right at the Dolphins' 48-yard line. He did not make it. He did not make it. They're about a foot short. So Partee comes in. Dennis Partee. The ball is at the Dolphins' 48-yard line. Partee also, in addition to kicking field goals, is the punter, and Charlie Lee goes back as the deep man, Anderson the shallow man, and Partee is lining up to punt. This is the second time the Dolphins have stopped the Chargers in this first half on short yardage situations. First time they settled for a field goal, waiting for the snap. Here it is. He has plenty of time, gets the kick out of there, booms a nice high spiral with the wind behind him. That's going to go in the end zone and will be blown dead out of the end zone as a touchback. A 48-yard punt that time by Partee, and the Dolphins will start from our 20-yard line, moving from our left to our right, with 11 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in this first half. And the Dolphins out in front by a score of 10-3. In case you joined us late, Bob Greasy suffered a dislocated ankle and a fracture and will be lost to the club for an indefinite long period of time. So it's up to Earl Morrell in this ball game and the defense. Out of the huddle come the Dolphins. Twilly splits off the near side. Warfield sets as a slot man right. Morris takes the handoff. Sweep to the left. Gets the corner turn. Up across the 25 and is knocked off his feet by the one man between he and long distance at the 27. And that was the weak safety, 7-year veteran Joe Beauchamp, number 40. A gain of about 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Henry?
Not that it was intentional or anything, but our associate down here on the sideline, Mike Garrick, was watching that play where Bob Greasy was hurt and says it was Deacon Jones who stepped on Greasy's ankle.
Deacon Jones is unofficially the culprit who stepped on Bob Greasy's ankle. Oakland 2, Cincinnati nothing at the end of 3. We'll give you some more football scores. That's the World Series, of course, in just a moment. 2nd down and 3, Dolphins from our 27-yard line. Here is the handoff. Going inside is Zonka. He's got the first down across the 30-yard line out to about the 32. Chuck Detweiler, the strong safety, makes the tackle on the play, and that could be recorded as a slip. As Larry feet went out from under him, and Detweiler fell on top of him. The Dolphins pick up a first down out to the 32-yard line. Football scores, first quarter, Houston 7, Pittsburgh nothing. First quarter, Jets 7, Patriots nothing. First quarter, Chicago 7, Cleveland nothing. Dolphins with a 10-3 lead, 9:48 to go in this first half. A first down from our 32-yard line. Warfield splits off to the far side, Twilly in tight off the near side. Zonka and Morris in the eye. Behind Morrow. Morrow hands off, trap, Zonka, big hole across the 40, still going. 45 up to the 46-yard line. Goes the bull, Larry Zonka.
What a beautiful block thrown on by Norm Evans on Deacon. Beautiful block. They really opened up the hole, along with Langer, right in there. What a hole. You could drive anything through it.
Rick Redmond and Joe Beauchamp on the tackle. Henry?
Now the Dolphins are bitterly complaining that there was face masking on Larry Zonka on that play.
And they've given us a short timeout during the field goal, so we have a lot of complaints. Here's Warfield splitting off to the far side. Dolphins with a first down from the 47-yard line in Dolphin territory. On the snap, Morrill hands to Morris, cuts outside to the left. He barely gets the corner turn before he is smothered by blue jerseys up at about the midfield stripe. Defensive left tackle Ron East is the man who made the initial contact. And they'll put the ball down at the 50-yard line. It'll be a 2nd down and 7 coming up. Morris and Zonka are the split backs. Let's pause for station identification on the Miami Dolphins Football Network.
Drive a new and different car every 6 months. William Lehman Leasing makes it possible. Call William Lehman Leasing for details.
WIOD Miami.
Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Morrill ready to operate from the midfield stripe. He drops straight back to throw on 2nd down. Cocks the arm, fires, great catch by Morris at the 45, and he's knocked down at the 46. In Charger territory, caught the ball up at the 45, and started laterally to the near side, trying to elude a tackler. Chuck Detweiler, the strong safety, could not do it, and he lost a couple of yards back to the 47, so they actually pick up 3 yards on the pass completion. A great one-handed catch as the rush was in on Morrill, and he lofted the ball, and Morris makes a great reception. He comes out, gets a hand, and Jim Kick comes in. The ball is at the Chargers' 47, where it'll be a 3rd down and 3. Dolphins lead 10-3, 7 minutes, 42 seconds to go in the first half. Out of the huddle they come. Warfield spreads to the far side, Twilley to the near side. Morrill has not been able to go to Warfield since he's been in the ball game. Kick, slap man right. On the snap, Morrill drops to throw. Sets up. He fires in the middle, overthrown, intended for Marv Fleming, and Marvin is complaining bitterly that he was held by strong safety Chuck Detweiler, and the officials do not call it, and the fans react accordingly, being a Dolphin home crowd. So that brings up 4th down as the pass is incomplete, and Larry Seipel's punting unit comes on. Marvin was really mad. And look from here as if there might have been a little harassment, but that's what the officials get paid for. Line of scrimmage, the Chargers 47. And Detweiler is now back as the deep man to field this punt, if indeed it is a punt. Seipel has been known to run out of punt formation on 4th and 3. Here's the snap. A little bit low. He gets the kick out of there. Nice high spiral. Bounces down inside the 5 and goes into the end zone as the Dolphins' coverage was down. But Beauchamp, back on the punt blocking unit, blocked a Dolphin who had an opportunity to down it at the 5-yard line. So there is a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score of the Dolphins 10 and the Chargers 3. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. The Chargers ready to put the ball in play, following Seipel's punt from their 20-yard line. John Hadel, the quarterback, on the snap. He drops straight back to throw. He sets and fires deep for the far sideline. It is knocked away and almost intercepted by Dick Anderson, who kicks the football the length of the field. So angry is he at himself. The pass was intended for Garrison. Anderson stepped in front up at about the 45 on the far side of the field and had his hands on it. Garrison also got a hand on it. They wrestled for it, and it fell to the ground incomplete. 2nd down and 10. Henry?
Mercury Morris now has his right ankle packed in ice. After that pass that he caught, he suffered an injury on the right ankle. Actually, it's a little bit above the ankle in the front, but he's packed in ice, and Hubert Genn is warming up.
All right, this figured to be a bruising ball game. The Dolphins have lost Bob Greasy for a long, indefinite period with an ankle dislocation and a fracture. Earl Morrill is the quarterback. Chargers have the ball at their 20, 2nd down and 10. Hadel drops to throw. He sets up. He fires. It is knocked away. Flag goes down, and I believe the Dolphins are going to be called for pass interference up at the 35-yard line. Garrison was the man for whom the pass was intended. Doug Swift, dropping back, was in on the play.
Rick, I believe they're calling Vern Den Herder on that, on roughing the passer. And Hecky went into there, and he saw that Hadel had let the ball go, and he stopped. I can't see him calling this thing.
Well, the flag was thrown upfield, and the penalty is going to be called apparently against San Diego, so our guesses, Lou, are both wrong. The flag was thrown upfield, which would indicate pass interference in the vicinity of the where the ball was thrown, and it may be a holding call on San Diego, or it may be pass interference against them. Instead of guessing, we'll wait for the officials' call. Pass interference is the call against the Chargers, and the Dolphins decline it. And here comes the 5th back, Lloyd Mumford in, and Mike Colon also comes in the prevent defense, as coming out is Bonaconte and Dunaway. The Dolphins take the down instead of the penalty. It'll be a 3rd and 10, Chargers at their 20. Henry?
The penalty was called on Pettis Norman, and Rick, after this play, we've got to tell you who's warming up as the backup quarterback.
All right, 3rd down and 10. If Hadel wants to keep this drive alive from the Charger 20-yard line on the snap. He drops the throw. He has plenty of time. Fires in the middle. It is picked off by Mumford, 35 to the near side. He spins away from the tackler and is knocked down at the 34. Lloyd Mumford And there's where the Dolphins' 5 backs really paid off. Sid Edwards made the tackle on the play. Lloyd Mumford, who just went in as that 5th back, picked that one off. That is for Mumford his 2nd pass interception of the season, and it couldn't come at a better time.
And I don't see how Hadel figured that he could complete that pass. All there was back there was a white jerseys, all Miami Dolphins.
All right, the Dolphins have excellent field position as Mumford brought it back about 4 yards. It's at the Charger 34-yard line. Twilley and Warfield split to the far side. Zonk and Kick, the splitbacks, in behind Morrill. Hand off to Zonk. He staggers, comes through the right side. He started to go outside, cut back to his right, and stutter stepped a bit, and comes down to about the 30 to 29-yard line. Zonko's had a good afternoon rushing, tackled by Bob Babbage. Henry?
Marlon Briscoe is getting a crash course in quarterbacking this team from Jim Delgazo on the sideline. He's also standing with the coaches on these offensive plays, studying what they're doing. So it would be Briscoe if anything should happen to Earl Morrill.
Briscoe started his career as a quarterback for the Denver Broncos, was converted to wide receiver, threw a pass against Minnesota, completed it for 22 yards. 2nd and 5, Dolphins from the Charger 29-yard line. Morrill hands off. Zonka, big hole in the middle. He's got the first down inside the 25 to the 20-yard line. Booms Larry Zonka. A tackle made by Rick Redmond and Chuck Detweiler. This one keyed. This drive keyed by that pass interception by Lloyd Mumford. The Dolphins capitalizing earlier on a short punt by Partee. Anderson recovered a fumble in the air, runs it back approximately 37 yards for a touchdown. So the Dolphins, playing without the injured Bob Greasy, have a first down at the Chargers' 20-yard line and lead 10-3, 5:13 to go in the first half. Earl Morrill at quarterback. On the handoff, hands to Kick, spins, drives, bucks his way over left guard and gets to about the 18-yard line, and that's all. Dave Costa, the right tackle, along with Ron East, the left tackle, make the stop on the play. Jim Mandich will come into the Dolphins' offensive alignment, and Marv Fleming comes out at tight end. A gain of 2 on the play. The ball at the Charger 18-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8. 4 minutes, 45 seconds to go in this first half now. In case you joined us late, Bob Greasy injured in the first quarter. Unofficially, he was stepped on his ankle by Deacon Jones, and he's out for a long, indefinite period with the diagnosis being dislocated ankle and a fracture of the ankle. Morrill is the quarterback. Earl drops to throw. He sets. He is firing the near side. Fully open. Touchdown, Dolphins! Open down in the near corner. He had the defensive secondary wide open, and Morrill spotted him. He stepped up in the pocket. There's where the experience, the intentional fortitude come in. He was about to be cracked. He let the pass fly 18 yards. Twilley caught it. Yepremian tries the point from placement. Here it is. Set down. The kick is up, and it is good. 4 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in this first half, and the Dolphins on an 18-yard touchdown pass from Morrill to Twilley. That's Howard's 2nd TD reception of the season. Now lead by a score of 17-3. As Henry Barrow remarked throughout the just a moment ago, Marlon Briscoe is being alerted as the backup quarterback for this ball game in case Morrill gets hurt or anything happens to him. But the old pro coming through with his first touchdown strike of the season. That 34-yard drive keyed by Lloyd Mumford's pass interception. We get back to receive the kickoff. Jesse Taylor, number 42. He is a rookie from Cincinnati, and Ray Jones.
You know that's got to help the confidence of Earl Morrill. That pass down there, throwing it over to Howard. That's really going to help him for the rest of the game.
Well, we hope so. And Yepremian gets the ball to place on the tee, and we're about ready to kick it off. The Dolphins' defense has been the story, taking over from the injured Bob Greasy here. Lead 17-3. Here's Yepremian's kick. It's high against the wind. It'll be run back. Grabbed by Taylor on the goal line, straight ahead. 5-10 to the far sideline to the 15, to the 20, and he is hit and dropped across the 20 at the 22. Jesse Powell for his 2nd stick of the afternoon. The big linebacker from West Texas State in his 4th year, playing on the Dolphins suicide squad, makes the tackle. 22-yard return for Jesse Taylor, and the Chargers, against this Dolphin defense, particularly here in the second quarter, have been having their problems. Hadel, going into the ball game, had been intercepted a total of 8 times this year. Now it's 9. Garrett and Edwards are the splitbacks. as Hadel hands to Garrett. Here's the sweep to the near side. Is he going to get the corner turn? He does, but he doesn't get much yardage as he's run out of bounds at the 23. Only a gain of a yard. And Doug Wilkerson, the left guard, was out in front of him trying to lead the blocking, but he was run out at the 23 after a gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. Henry?
If anybody has a complaint on that play, it should be Curtis Johnson. He was drawing a bead on the runner and was tackled.
Oh, well, we've had people stepped on, had a quarterback taken out for, maybe the whole year. This is a rough game. The ball up the Chargers' 23-yard line. 2nd down and 9. 3:55 to go. Splitting off to the far side is Garrison. To the near side is Dykes. Edwards and Garrett, the split backs. In behind Hadel. Hadel play fake. He has to eat it as the Dolphins. Bill Stanfield was not buying it and drops him back on the 15-yard line. Jim Dunaway also in on top of him. The Dolphins coming in had gotten to the passer 10 times this season, and they get to Hadel as he play faked and was dropping back for a short screen, and Stanfield came in with his hands up and almost rammed the football down his throat. They put it down at the 17. It'll be 3rd down and 15 coming up, and Matheson and Mumford come in the Dolphins prevent defense.
Rick, that play is set up so that when the tackle pulls out there, the end is supposed to follow. Most Stanfield didn't go with any of that fake and just continued in and right on top of Hadel.
3rd down, long yardage. Ready to go is Hadel from his 17. Dykes and Garrison spread off the far side. Back to throw Hadel. Swings the screen out, and Edwards drops the ball. That's incomplete. It's kicked out of bounds on the far side. The screen was formed. Edwards had the ball, and he couldn't hold on to it. So they'll have to punt. Henry?
We told you to look for variations in that 53. That time, Nick Bonaconte was pulled out along with Jim Dunaway.
The Dolphins defense getting a handkerchief. Get the handkerchiefs out, you folks listening on your transistors. Let's give the defense an accolade. Charlie Lee back to receive the punt. Dick Anderson, the shallow man. Line of scrimmage will be the 17 in Charger territory, and standing at the 2 is Dennis Partee. He'll have the wind behind him. 3:24 to go in the half. Here's the snap. He gets the kick out of there and booms up beauty. A tremendously high, long spiral. Charlie Lee grabs it back at the 30. Up the near sideline. 35, gets a block. 40, 45. He is dragged down from behind at the 50-yard line and into Charger territory at the 49. Charlie Lee, who can really go like a killdeer. If you don't know what a killdeer is, you've never lived in the country. There's a little meadow bird who really flies. Jesse Taylor made the tackle on the play. A 21-yard return by Charlie Lee. The end of 4 innings. Oakland 2, Cincinnati nothing. First quarter football score, LA 3, the Eagles nothing. Charlie Lee with a 21-yard punt return, and the Dolphins again have excellent field position at the Charger 49. Jim Kick and Larry Zonka will be the running backs when time is in. We have 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this first half. I know that it's very discouraging for Bob if he's listening now, but everybody here is pulling for him, and we hope that he gets back real soon, a lot sooner than anticipated. A great athlete, a great team leader. The ball at the 49-yard line in Charger territory. The Dolphins defense has taken the play completely away from this Charger team here in the second quarter, and the Dolphins lead 17-3.
Rick, that Dolphins defensive line, you got to say something about how well they're playing this game. When you start looking at that offensive line down there with San Diego, that's probably one of the better lines in the league. And for them to be controlling it as well as they have this first half, that's doing a darn good job.
Dolphins with 3:10 to go in the first half have Twilley as the wide man left, Warfield slot left in the eye. Our kick and Zonka behind Morrow from the Charger 49-yard line. Earl a long count. Spins, pitches back to kick behind Zonka, sweep to the right. And he is belted out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Getting inside was Deacon Jones, who was the man who is unofficially tagged as the player who stepped on Greasy's ankle. And the officials still haven't put it down. They put it down at the Charger 46, so it's a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
That Deacon must be in great shape, Rick. When you figure this is his 11th year in the league and he's still roaming around there with such great pursuit, he must be in fine shape.
Mercury Morris has come back in, which is an indication that his ankle is all right. Warfield spreads to the far side, Twilley to the near side. Zonka and Morris, the split backs. In behind Morrill, the ball at the Chargers 46, a 2nd down and 7. On the snap, Earl drops straight back to throw. Swings a pass out to Morris. He is not going to go anyplace, though. He might have lost about 4 yards as Dave Costa, the right tackle, was not blocked out on the play. If he was, whoever had the assignment missed him. And the Dolphins lose about 4 yards. There is a marker on the play, obscured from our view by the players. Or was there? Apparently not.
That's where Lopen, Rick, paid off for Costa. Actually, he's supposed to rush the passer. He didn't rush, and he went out there and made the tackle on Morris.
There was no flag on that last play. They lose 4 yards. The ball is back at the midfield stripe. It's 3rd down and 11. Morrill trying to keep this drive alive. Needs this one. Zonka and Morris are the split backs. Warfield splits to the far side. Twilley to the near side. From the 50-yard line, 3rd down, 11. Morrill drops to throw. He sets up. He fires the middle. It is caught by Mandich, who just came in the ball game, and he's got a first down inside the 40 down to the Chargers' 37-yard line. Pete Lazatich, the middle linebacker, got caught on that one, the rookie from Stanford, and he had to react quickly and make the tackle from behind. Mandich come in for that one play, and the Dolphins pick up the first down.
Rick over there, 75. I believe 75 is the Deacon. He looks bad.
All right, we have the 2-minute warning on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score. 17-3, the Dolphins out in front. Rick Weaver with Lou Kriegmer and Henry Barrow, who has had his hands full and been very busy down on the field here for this first half with the injured Greasy and everything. And Earl Morrow, incidentally, has completed 4 out of 6 unofficially. And that one was a big one. The first down pass covering some 13 yards to Jim Mandich. And the Dolphins continue with possession of the football with 2 minutes to go in this first half, a 17-3 lead. The first down at the Chargers' 37-yard line. The running backs are Morris and Zonka. Twilley and Warfield are the wide receivers out of the huddle as time is back in. Twilley splits to the far side. Warfield slot man left. Dolphins are moving toward the east end zone to our right. Morrill from the 37. Here's the handoff going to Mercury. Sweep to the right. Cuts back to his left. Puts his head down. Drags tacklers with him inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Pete Lazatich, the rookie middle linebacker from Stanford, makes the tackle. Cal Snowden, now playing at a defensive end. In place of Deacon Jones, also in on the tackle. Snowden, a 4-year veteran from the University of Indiana. Played college ball with Doc Crusan there. 2nd down and 6 for the Dolphins. The ball at the Charger 33. In the 2-minute offense, Morrill drops to throw. He is hit and dropped just as he was about to toss the ball and wisely held onto it. Ron East is the man who got in on top of him. And that's the first time that the Dolphin quarterback has been sacked this afternoon.
Rick looking over there on the sideline. Deacon Jones is there on the bench, and they're working on his right knee. Looks like he may be out of the game for a little bit.
Ball is back at the 41-yard line. The Dolphins wind up losing a total of 8 yards on the play and call a timeout to regroup their forces. Morrill over on the sidelines to talk to Don Shula. Time showing on the clock. Left to play in the first half. 1 minute and 29 seconds. The Dolphins lead 17-3. Have lost Bob Greasy for a long, indefinite period with an ankle dislocation and a fracture. Deacon Jones is out with a knee injury, and he's the guy that unofficially was the man responsible for Greasy's injury. The time is in now. From the Chargers 41, Morrill drops to throw. He is firing. Flag goes down. Twilley is down here. It is caught and juggled around and dropped. Bob Howard and Twilley were really having a battle for it. As the ball was bouncing around like a hot potato at the 11-yard line, it finally rolled loose on the ground, but there's a flag down back at about the 48-yard line, and it looks like a holding call. At least the initial indication from the officials, as Morrill put the ball up high down the near sideline. Twilley was there, had to come back a little bit, and Howard, the left cornerback, was right with him, and they really had a battle.
It looks like Earl got himself a face full of knuckles on that play, Rick. Even though somebody was trying to keep that defensive man from getting in there, he got in and gave Earl a handful.
The Dolphins, as referee Chuck Heberling, will march off the penalty at the 15-yard offensive holding call against Miami. Sets the ball back to the Dolphins 44. Zonka is out. Mercury Morris and Jim Kick now form the offensive backfield for the Dolphins. Offensive holding moves the ball back to the Miami 44-yard line. And it'll be a 3rd down coming up. And extremely long yardage. They have to get down to the Chargers 27 for a first down. Henry?
That holding penalty was called on Doug Crusan.
3rd down and 29 for the Dolphins. Back at their 44. Warfield splits to the far side. Twilley to the near side. Kick is a slot man to the near side. Morrill has not gone to Warfield since he's been in the ball game. Here's the snap. Hand off to Morris. Sweep to the weak side. He's across the 50, up the near sideline, and runs it out of bounds at the Chargers' 46-yard line. Ron East, defensive tackle from behind, ran him out. Henry?
Off the field, Mercury was limping pretty badly when he came off, and he's coming out of the ball game due to the situation anyway, but he's limping badly over here on the sideline.
He picked up about 10 yards. The Dolphins needed 29, so Seipel comes in to punt against the wind, which has really picked up again with 1:15 to go in this first half. Dolphins leading 17-3. Detweiler is back as the deep man, and Beauchamp the shallow man. The line of scrimmage, the Chargers 46, Larry standing back, the Dolphins 39. Here's the snap from Howard Kindig, a little bit high. He pulls it down and gets off an end-over-end kick, bounces down inside the 10, down inside the 5, and the Dolphins coverage cannot get down in time. Goes into the end zone for a touchback. A 46-yard punt by Seipel, and the Chargers will start the move, or at least try to, from their 20-yard line. The Dolphins defense has really shut them off here in this second quarter. Their only score, coming on a 12-yard field goal, capping an 80-yard drive with 51 seconds left in the first quarter by Dennis Partee. Dolphins using the variations off the 53, with Bonacani coming out today on some occasions, and with the insertion of the fifth defensive back, and it paid off just a few moments ago when Mumford intercepted a Hadel pass, and it culminated in Morrill throwing 20 an 18-yard touchdown pass. Garrett and Edwards, the splitbacks. As coming in motion to the near side is Gary Garrison. Here is the handoff going to Garrett, and he is thrown for a loss. Back at the 16-yard line. He never got started. As booming through there was Bill Stanfield. What a game Stanfield has played from that right side defensive end this afternoon. He has a quarterback sack. He has been in there to drop the ball carrier a couple of times. And now Bonacani comes out and Mumford comes in as at that 53 defensive alignment. Henry?
I noticed also that San Diego's doing what Dallas did. They're putting two men on Nick Bonacani.
Second down and 14 as Garrett lost 4. The ball back at the Chargers 16. Clock moving with 30 seconds to go in the half. Hadel on the snap. Hands off to Sid Edwards through the right side, and he's going to be stacked up at about the 20 after a gain of 4. Manny Fernandez from his defensive left tackle spot makes the stop on the play. They put it down at the 21, so he gets a gain of 5. It'll be third down coming up at 19, and they may not get off another play as we have 9 seconds left to go in the first half. 6 seconds. 5 seconds, the clock moving with 4. They're not even going to try it. 1 second, and there's the end of the first half with the score. Our Dolphins 17, the Chargers 3. We'll be back with halftime comments after these announcements. Rick Weaver, Lou Quickler, and Henry Barrow ready to start the second half. The Dolphins lead 17-3, playing without Bob Greasy, will receive the kickoff at the east end zone. Rookie Bill McQuard, who is the long-distance kicking specialist for the Chargers, will kick off. Mercury Morris deep down the near side. Charlie Lee off to the far side. Here is the whistle. McQuard comes forward, gets the toe into it against the wind, which has really picked up. It's way short. Out at the 8-yard line. Morris up to the 10, the 15 to the 20. Follows a block, turns the corner. 30, 35, and he's knocked down at the 35-yard line. Mercury Morris with a fine return, and he got that blocking wall out in front of him. That kick against the wind was short. He grabbed it at the 9-yard line, and the Dolphins wind up with it at their 35. The tackle by Oscar Dragon on the Chargers specialty team.
Some doctor did something pretty good to Deacon in there at halftime. Rick, he's starting in there at the defensive end.
All right, the Dolphins will have Earl Morrill at the quarterback spot with a first down at our 35. The running backs are Zonka and Kick. Howard Twilley splits to the far side and Warfield to the near side. Dolphins with a 17-3 lead, moving from our right to our left toward the west end zone here in this third quarter. Handoff goes to Kick, puts his head down, rams the right side, and gets out to about the 37-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. Middle linebacker Pete Lazatich on the tackle. The first half stats, the Chargers got 6 first downs, the Dolphins 8. Total offensive yardage 148 for the Chargers, 126 for the Dolphins. Chargers had the ball 33 times to the Dolphins 32. And net rushing yardage, the Chargers carried the ball 18 times for 62 yards. The Dolphins 20 times for 89. We'll give you the rest of them in just a moment. Second down and 7. Dolphins football at our 37-yard line. Morrill waiting for the snap from center. Here it is. He spins, hands to Kick, bounces off a tackler, and gets his way up to the 39. That could have been a bad handoff, as Kick was almost by Morrill as he took the football. Dave Costa makes the tackle. Gets a gain of 2. Jim Mandich comes in, replacing Marv Fleming at tight end. Third down and 5. Net passing yardage in the first half, 72 for the Chargers, 37 for the Dolphins. Morrill was 6 for 14 with 1 interception. Greasy and Morrill together 6 for 10. With no interceptions. Morrill an 18-yard TD pass to Twilley. Dolphins were penalized once 15 yards and 1 penalty for the Chargers for 5 yards. Third down and 5. Dolphins ball at their 39. Morrill has Kick and Zonk as the splitbacks. He drops the throw. He fires in the middle. Open is Twilley. Great catch at the Charger 40. And he's knocked out at the 38-yard line. Holy Toledo, what a grab by little Howard Twilley. Bob Howard knocked him down. Morrill was being bumped into by his pass protection, trying to keep the rush out of there. Earl didn't drop back too far, but he got that pass away, and he threw it high. And Twilley climbed the stepladder in front of Howard that time, grabbed it at the Chargers 40, and Howard got him at the 38. 23-yard pass completion from Morrill to Twilley. Twilley again has been the offensive stick out as a pass receiver. First down, Dolphins at the Charger 38-yard line. Here's the handoff going to Zonka. Sweep to the left. He's got a hole. 35. Puts his head down and bangs in to a defensive back and gets to the 30-yard line. Leonard Dunlap felt the onslaught that time as Larry tried to run over him. And he gets about 8 yards. It'll be a second down and 2. Dunlap, Howard was shaken up on the play at a cornerback, and Ray Jones comes in to replace him. Larry Zonka in that first half had six carries, 39 yards, a 6.5 average. Garrett had 37 yards. So Larry is trailing coming into the ball game, 23 yards behind Garrett. Now is just 21 yards in the first half. Second down and 2. Dolphins at the Charger 30-yard line. Morrill on the snap. Hands off to kick, slide through, hole left side, puts his head down inside the 30 and digs for yardage to the 25. He's got a first down. Jim Kicks, tackled by Dave Costa, and the Dolphins' running game has taken over now with the exclusion of that one pass of 23 yards from Morrill to Twilley. First down for the Dolphins at the Charger 25-yard line. We're in the third quarter. Dolphins lead 17-3. Dick Anderson, a 35-yard fumble recovery, ran it back for a touchdown. Lloyd Mumford intercepted a Hadel pass. Gave the Dolphins the ball at 34. 4 plays later, Morrill hit Twilley with an 18-yard touchdown pass. Garo Yepremian a 37-yard field goal. Partee a 12-yarder for the Chargers' only score. From the 25, Morrill hands to Zonka, hits the middle and gets 2 to the 23-yard line. Ron East, defensive left tackle, a 6-year man from Montana State, makes the stop on the play. It'll be a second down and 8 coming up for the Dolphins under Earl Morrill's direction. Now they put it down at the 24-yard line, so give them a gain of only a yard. It'll be a second down and 9. 10 minutes, 45 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Twilley splits off the far side, Warfield to the near side. Second down and 9 from the Chargers' 24-yard line. Morrill waiting for the snap. A long count at the line of scrimmage. Here's the handoff to Kick. Starts inside, cuts outside to the right, and he trips over a tackler inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line. Goes Jim Kick. Tripping him up was the left side linebacker, Bob Babbage.
Rick, you can sure see why Savarian is going with that rookie middle linebacker. That Lazatich is really doing a job in there, moving all over the countryside.
The ball at the Chargers' 19-yard line. Third down and 4. For the Dolphins, Earl Morrill taking over from the injured Bob Greasy in the first quarter. And the Dolphins have obviously made some offensive adjustments for Earl at the halftime because he's taken this drive, which started with a kickoff, a fine run back by Morris, and has moved his ball club steadily downfield. A third down and 4 at the Charger 19-yard line. Morrill on the snap, drops straight back to throw. He sets up, he is firing down in the corner. Warfield, touchdown, Dolphins! And here come the handkerchiefs. 80,000 strong. Paul Warfield, we were wondering how long it was going to take him. He had 3 touchdowns at this time of the season last year. He had Dunlap beat by a mile, coming down to a corner pattern in the southwest corner of the end zone, and Morrill hit him with a strike. A 19-yarder. Yepremian in to try the point from placement. Morrill will hold. Here's the snap, set down. The kick is up, and it is good. With 9:25 to go in the third quarter, Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 24 and San Diego 3. Rick Weaver, Luke Wickmer, and Henry Barrow back at the Orange Bowl, a 65-yard drive. 6 plays, Earl Morrill, a 19-yard touchdown pass to Paul Warfield, and the Dolphins lead 24-3. Jesse Taylor, number 42, and Chuck Detweiler, number 35, are the deep men for the Chargers to receive Yepremian's kickoff, and Garo has the wind to his back. He gets his toe into it. It's high and it's deep, way back in the end zone, out of the end zone for the touchback. And the Chargers will start from their 20-yard line. There is a flag down upfield at the 35-yard line.
San Diego 36.
And we'll see what this is all about. Henry?
I wasn't watching the flag, Rick, but it just occurred to me that if Earl Morrill keeps it up, he may bring back the crew cut.
The officials are conferring with the San Diego Ball Club. The ball was out of the end zone. The flag had been thrown back upfield. There was no run back. Get a personal foul against the Chargers and that will penalize them. The penalty will be marched off from the 20-yard line, and they get half the distance. A personal foul, as there was a collision and some unsportsmanlike conduct apparently upfield on the part of the Chargers. And Jesse Powell was the man who was involved for the Dolphins, so they get penalized on the touchback back to their 10-yard line. Hadel, the quarterback, starts from that position with a 1st and 10 from his 10-yard line. Edwards and Garrett, the running backs. The handoff goes to Garrett. He is hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage, trying to get over to the left side. He gets nowhere. He is stacked up. Manny Fernandez is the man who grabbed him and refused to let go. Second quarter, Pittsburgh 10, Houston 7. At the half, the Jets lead the Patriots 21-6. Second quarter, Chicago 7, Cleveland nothing. We'll have scores of all the games on our scoreboard show following the rolling home for our WIOD listeners, including the World Series, and keep you posted as best we can with the progress of these other ball games, including the series, as we go this afternoon. Here's a handoff going inside is Edwards. He vaults across the middle, gets out to about the 16, but there's a flag down on the far side of the field. Manny Fernandez made the tackle for the Dolphins. Sid Edwards, the ball carrier. Offsides is the call against Miami. Henry?
That first flag on the kickoff, the penalty, the unsportsmanlike conduct was called on Lee White.
The preliminary signal.
Bill Stanfield was the man that was offsides for the Dolphins on this last play. He's had a great ball game from his right side defensive end for the Dolphins this afternoon. The referee marching off the football to see where the penalty, as opposed to the gain, would place the ball. So the Chargers take the distance and retain the down. It'll be 2nd down and 4, the ball at their 16-yard line. Hadel splits off Dykes as the wide man to the near side. Garrison is the slot man right. Edwards and Garrett are the slot backs. The setbacks in behind Hadel. He's off to throw. Gets a rush. Fires. Dykes makes the catch, and he's dropped at the 21-yard line. And that should be good enough for a 1st down. Chuck Dykes off the near side wide receiver, slanting into the middle. Makes the reception. Dick Anderson makes the tackle.
Pass taken by Dykes.
And that is good for a San Diego 1st down. Hadel in the first half threw 14 times, completed 6 for 79 yards. He had 1 intercepted. And that was a crucial interception by Lloyd Mumford, which set up the Dolphins' 2nd touchdown.
Rick, there sure are many bigger defensive tackles in the league than Manny Fernandez. You know, he's only 6'2 and 250. But I'll tell you, he's in there just about every single play. He's right there in that quarterback's face, or else right there making the tackle.
Chargers ball up their 21, 1st down. Dykes near side, Garrison far side. Pitch goes to Garrett, trying to turn the corner. He's caught and dropped for a loss. A great defensive play by the Dolphins, Nick Bonaconti. The middle linebacker through there. Read the play beautifully, and Garrett never did get the corner turn. He loses about 1.5 yards. We'll call it a yard for accuracy's sake. Back at the 20-yard line, 2nd down and 11. Since Greasy got hurt in that first quarter, the Dolphin defense has just dominated this football game, as they have all opponents thus far in the season. 7 minutes, 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Morrill taking that opening kickoff and driving his ball club in 6 plays, 65 yards. Completing a 19-yard touchdown pass to Paul Warfield, and the Dolphins lead 24-3. 2nd down, 11. Chargers from their 20. Dykes and Garrison are split to the near side. Hadel, hands off. Edwards trapped in the middle. Big hole, 25, 30, 35. And he's not knocked down until he gets out to about the 38-yard line. That'll be good for a 1st down. Draw play. Jake Scott and Dick Anderson, the 2 safeties, team up to knock him down. But the Chargers, good call by Hadel. And they pick up a 1st down with Edwards busting up the middle out to their 37.
Right over Malty Moore, Rick. Malty Moore, you know, really is, you consider him a rookie defensive player over there. He really barreled in, and they went right by him.
Moore is playing in place of Dunaway. The ball at the Charger 37, 1st down for the Chargers. To the near side, Dykes. Garrison is a slot man. Now he goes in motion. Off to the far side. Edwards and Garrett, the split-backs. Garrett gets the handoff through the middle, finds a small opening, and squirts through out to about the 42 before he is tackled by middle linebacker Nick Bonaconti. 6 minutes, 18 seconds left to play in the 3rd period. If you just joined us, Bob Greasy was injured severely with a dislocation and a fractured ankle in the 1st quarter. Will be lost to this ball club for an indefinite long period. Earl Morrill has taken over and has thrown 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Twilley and 1 to Warfield. Wide to the left this time, goes to the far side, goes Garrison. To the near side comes Dykes, and now Garrison resets as Hadel is not satisfied with his position. A 2nd and 6. Chargers ball at their 42. Now Garrison goes in motion back to the left side. Here's a little swing pass to Dicus at the 40, trying to wrestle for running room, and he's knocked down after being hit by 4 men. And he gets a couple of yards out to the 43-yard line. Tim Foley is the man who finally brought him down. Malty Moore, Fernandez, Mike Colin all had a shot at him. And he just kept jerking loose from the tacklers. They give him a gain of a yard out to the 43-yard line. Just a little hitch pass to the near sideline. Here comes the prevent again. Matheson comes in as a linebacker or a defensive end. Mumford in as a defensive back. Foley will move up, presumably, to a linebacker spot. Bonaconte and Malty Moore come out. This is 3rd down and 5. Chargers ball at their 43. Dicus splits to the near side. Garrison off to the far side. Hadel drops the throw. He has time. No, he's hit. He fires. It is caught by Garrett across the 50, and they've got a first down in Dolphins territory at the 46-yard line. He was smashed just to get the ball away by Bill Stanfield, but he did get it away. And Garrett, across the middle, made the reception. The tackle on the play by Foley, and they pick up a first down, a 12-yard pickup on the pass completion to Mike Garrett at the Dolphins 46. 4 minutes, 37 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins defense coming up with some big plays here, but they have not been able to stop this Hadel drive. To the near side is Dicus. To the far side is Garrison. In the eye this time. Here's a handoff. Garrett, he bounces into the middle and gets about 3 to the 43-yard line before he's stacked up by white jerseys down there. Bill Stanfield makes the tackle on the play for Miami. And that'll make it a 2nd down and 7 for the Chargers, who trail here 24-3. There's a blitz on. Here's a handoff going to Garrett. He threads his way through the middle. 40 inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. He is still shy of what he needed for a first down. The tackle by Mike Colin. The Dolphins appeared from up here to be coming that time from the left side, and Garrett ran right by it. So he gets down to the 37-yard line, and Malty Moore comes in, replacing Bob Matheson. Gain of 7 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and close to a yard to go for a first down. This drive started back at the Chargers' 10-yard line. And even though the Dolphins defense has come up with key plays, they have not been able to stop Hadel on the big gainers, the sustaining gainers, and the 3rd down plays. 3 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. A 3rd down and 1 from the Dolphins 37. Here's a handoff. Edwards, the fullback, hits the middle. He's got the first down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Nick Bonaconte, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle on the play. First down for the Chargers. The ball at the Miami 33-yard line. 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. The Chargers are moving from our left to our right here in this 3rd quarter. Warfield, a 19-yard touchdown reception from Morrill. Twilley, an 18-yard pass from Morrill. Anderson, a 35-yard fumble recovery return for a touchdown. And Euphemian, a 37-yard field goal. Partee has a 12-yard field goal for the only score for the Chargers. Pitch goes to Garrett. Cuts in over the left side. Gets inside the 30. Bobbing and weaving. Gets to the 28-yard line before weak side linebacker Mike Colin knocks him off his feet at the 28. It'll be about 4 yards to go for a first down with a 2nd down coming up. And a good sustained drive here by John Hadel. That drive that they scored on, they had to settle for a field goal on, and the first quarter was an 80-yard march, and the Dolphins kept him out of the end zone. Here's Dicus, who's gone all the way. Moving off the near side, Garrison slot man right, Edwards and Garrett the split-backs. In behind Hadel. Here's a handoff going to Edwards. He pounds right guard, and he gets about a yard, maybe 2, down to about the 26-yard line. Vern Denherter, the Dolphins' defensive left end, makes the stop on the play.
Rick, I don't see how that offensive line for San Diego decides who they're going to block on. That Miami defense is bouncing all over the place. You see a 5-man line, a 4-man line, 3-man line, the linebackers all over. You could never figure out who you're going to block.
And Pettis Norman goes out. John Mackey comes in at tight end. It'll be a 3rd and 3 from the Dolphins' 26-yard line for the Chargers, and Bob Matheson and Lloyd Mumford are in. And the Dolphins' 53 defense with variations. Dicus splits left, Garrison slot man left, Garrett and Edwards the split-backs. Here's the play fake, and the end around. Carrying the football to the near side is Garrison. He's hit and dropped for a big loss. Coming to the near side, back at the 32-yard line by Lloyd Mumford. He was contained and then got away back about midfield as they worked the flanker around with Gary Garrison, the ball carrier, and he got away from that tackler, and Mumford dropped him back here on the near sideline at the 32-yard line. So it'll bring up a 4th down with the loss on the play, and they're going to have to try to settle for a field goal here with Partee, who is 8 for 8 on the season. He has not missed one, and he has one of 12 yards earlier. This will be a 39-yard attempt. Let's make it 40 now, as Wayne Clark, the holder, Knees back to the 40-yard line. 40 yards against the breeze. Here's the snap, set down. The kick is way short. He wobbled it off. Jake Scott picks it up to 23 for the Dolphins, shakes the tackle. 25, 30, 35 to the 40, and he's knocked out at the 43-yard line. Partee just plain missed the football. I've never seen one like that. We'll explain it when we come back. Timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score of the Dolphins 24, the Chargers 3. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Partee just plain missed that field goal. A strong breeze had sprung up down on the field just as he kicked it, but he squibbed it off to his left. Scott picked it up back at the 24-yard line and runs it back out to the Dolphin 42. The Dolphins have good field position on that missed field goal attempt by Partee, and that's his first miss of the year. Morrill, the quarterback, has fully split right. Warfield to the near side. Kickin, Zonka, Butch Cassidy, and the Sundance Kid are the splitbacks in behind Morrill. From the Dolphins 42, contact is made before the ball is snapped. There will be a penalty here. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Mar Fleming jumped, and the Dolphins are penalized. He made contact. They're penalized 5 yards for illegal procedure, so that sets the ball back at the Dolphins' 37-yard line with just 6 seconds to go in his third quarter. First and 15 for Miami from our 37. Dolphins lead 24-3. Kickin, Zonka, the splitbacks. In behind Earl Morrill. From the Dolphins' 37-yard line. Earl, a long count at the line of scrimmage, makes the handoff, sprints back to his left. He's going to run with the ball, and he's dropped for a loss at the 35. A little deception by the fleet-footed Earl Morrill that time. He winds up losing two. That's the end of the third quarter. Dolphin football action will continue from the Orange Bowl with a score. Dolphins 24, Chargers 3. Dolphins ready to go to work in the final quarter here. Leading 24-3, second and 17 from our 35-yard line. Twilley and Warfield, double wide receivers to the near side. Morrill on a trap, hands to Zonka, big hole, 35, 40 out to the 45-yard line. Rims Larry Zonka. He had a hole big enough for a herd of hogs to run through that time and not touch either side. Pete Lazatich, the middle linebacker, and Rick Redmond from the right side make the tackle on the play, a 10-yard gain. It'll be a third down coming up, and 7. Mandich comes in replacing Fleming. Other scores, Washington 3, St. Louis nothing first quarter, and Oakland leads Cincinnati 2-0 at the end of 7 in the World Series. The ball at the Dolphins 45. A third down and 7. Dolphins lead 24-3. We've just started the final period. Warfield spreads to the far side. Twilley to the near side. Kickin, Zonka, the splitbacks in behind Morrill. On the snap. Here's the handoff. Zonka, big hole! Right side, 45-50 into Chargers territory. 46-yard line before he's knocked down by cornerback Ray Jones. And that's what I call a quick trap. Morrill had that ball in his belly before the Chargers defense could react, and he exploded through that line on the right side.
And Larry Little had Ron East just up on his back and moved him out about 5 yards.
First down for the Dolphins. The ball up the 46-yard line in Charger territory as Zonka has had another excellent day. He got 39 yards, net yards in the first half, and he is really running like a man possessed here in this second half. Warfield switched to the far side. Fully to the near side. Handoff goes to Kick. Kick barrels over the left side, gets about a yard or two down to the 44-yard line before he is stacked up. Morrill appears to be having a little bit of a problem with the handoffs to Kick. He's not having any problem with Zonka. Babbage made the tackle on the play.
Lazatich led the tackle.
And Bob Babbage gets credit for the tackle at the 44-yard line. A gain of 2. It'll be second down and 8 yards to go for a Dolphin first down. Henry?
Glad you mentioned that, Rick, because that play where Earl kept the ball was supposed to be a handoff to Kick that he just missed giving him.
That looked like a busted play from here. Warfield splits to the far side, Twilley to the near side. Kick and Zonka split behind Morrill. Second down and 8 from the Chargers' 44-yard line. Morrill, long count at the line of scrimmage. And the Dolphins, I believe, are going to be penalized for delay of the game. That's how long the count was. As flags go down, the whistles blow, and Miami is penalized 5 yards for taking too much time to put the football in play. You have 30 seconds from the time the referee says go to get that ball in play, and the Dolphins now are penalized 5 yards back to the Charger 49-yard line. It'll be a second down and 13. We have 12 minutes, 50 seconds to go in this ball game. Dolphins out in front 24-3. Greasy was injured, his ankle dislocated and fractured in the first quarter. Morrill has taken over, has thrown touchdown passes of 18 yards to Twilley, 19 yards to Warfield. Morrill drops the throw, flags down. Here's a pitch pass to Kick on the near side, shakes the tackler, and moves his way up to the 40-yard line before he is tackled, but there is a flag down On the far side of the field, Dave Costa makes the tackle on the play. A 9-yard pickup on the pass completion. Costa makes the stop on it. The penalty will be against San Diego for offsides defensively. Now the Dolphins with a 2nd and 13 situation from the 49 following before that pass completion to the 40-yard line. Let's see what the decision will be as to whether to take the penalty, the down, the distance, or what the situation will be. Larry Little, the offensive captain for the Dolphins, making the decision. They put the ball down at the 40-yard line, just inside the 40. And the defensive offsides against the Chargers has been declined. The Dolphins take the distance, so it'll be a 3rd down and 4. Kick and Zonka operating as a tandem as they did so successfully last year. Most of this ball game, and particularly here in the second half. Mercury Morris had 8 carries for 45 yards in the first half. He is bothered with a sore ankle also. Warfield splits left, Willie to the near side. The ball at the Chargers 40, 3rd down and 4. Here's Morrill on the snap, drops straight back to throw. He sets up, now he's going to try to run with the ball, and he's dropped for a loss at the 42-yard line. Getting him from behind was defensive end Lionel Aldrich as he tried to break out of the pocket. Apparently, at least from Earl's vantage point, all of his receivers were covered. So that brings up a 4th down, and Garrow is going to try a field goal. This will be a 49-yard attempt, approximately, against a rather stiff breeze. Partee tried one from about the same area. Well, his was about 40 yards, and he squibbed it a while ago as a strong wind suddenly sprang up on the field. Dunlap goes back as the deep man. Morrow will hold a 49-yard field goal attempt by Yepremian. Now Marv Fleming gets in there to assist on the blocking unit. And the Chargers make some adjustments. Here's the snap. Set down. The kick is up. He's got the distance. Apparently, it's no good, and rolls in the end zone, and is going to be down there by Dunlap. We never did get an official signal from the officials. It was off to Garrow's left side. No good. And so the Chargers will bring it out and put it in play at their 20-yard line with 12 minutes and 4 seconds to go. And Hadel has been bottled up all afternoon except for that one drive right near the end of the first quarter in which they had to settle for a 12-yard field goal. The Dolphins defense has handled his offensive line. Mike Garrett, Sid Edwards, the running backs. John Mackey will be the tight end. And the Chargers back in a huddle getting things aligned now. Apparently, there's a timeout on the field. We did not see the indication, so we'll keep it here because I don't want to get caught again coming back in. 12 minutes and 4 seconds left to go. The Dolphins with a 24-3 lead. The score remains as it is now. Don Shula will have his 5th consecutive victory, although it has been a costly one, and will be just 4 games away from becoming the 9th coach in the history of professional football to have won 100 games. Time is in, ready to go. Dykes splits to the far side. Garrison is a slot man right. Hadel has Garrett and Edwards as the split backs. Mackey is the tight end. First down from the Chargers 20. Hadel sprints back out to his right, being chased by Denherter. Throws a pass, completes it up to the 25 to Edwards, and he is knocked out of bounds on the far side of the field by Bonaconte at the 28-yard line. And Hadel is flattened out. He is injured back at the 9-yard line. Denherter was the man who was back there on him. We'll take a commercial timeout here to catch up. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Dolphins 24, the Chargers 3. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Hadel appeared to be able to walk off with some assistance over there, which was more than Greasy could do. Vern Denherter is the man who got him. And Hadel is out of the ball game. And now they're going to be charged with a timeout. Hadel is coming back into the ball game. Wayne Clark, the second-year man from U.S. International. If you've never heard of that school, neither have I. And I lived in California for 3 or 4 years. It's in San Diego, and started into the ball game. He's their number 2 quarterback, but Hadel apparently is okay. Denherter is the man who got him. He completed the pass. Edwards was out of bounds on the far side at the 28, so they pick up 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Time is in and ready to go. 11:57 left to go in this ball game. Dolphins lead 24-3. Bob Matheson is in on the prevent defense. Mike Garrett and Sid Edwards are the running backs. The Dolphins have pretty well contained Garrett this afternoon. Larry Zonka has had a good second half. It's conceivable that Zonka could come out of this ball game leading the AFC in rushing, depending upon what John Riggins does today if he plays for the Jets. The handoff goes to Edwards, hits the middle. He did not make the first down. He stacked up at the 29-yard line. Sid Edwards, whose real name is Cleophas, was acquired by the Chargers from St. Louis during the offseason. Manny Fernandez made the tackle on that last play. 3rd down and 1. for the Chargers. The ball at their 29. They are moving from our right to our left toward the west end zone in this fourth quarter. 11 minutes, 30 seconds left to play. Dolphins with a 24-3 lead. But Bob Greasy was injured and will be out for a long period of time with that dislocation and fracture of the ankle in the first quarter. Dykes, wide man to the near side. Here is Hadel on the option. Bootleg keeps running for the ball. Turns the corner, 35-40. Out of bounds on the far side at the 45-yard line. Beautiful bit of deception by Hadel, who just a moment ago had a bad leg. Bootlegged the ball, rolled to his right, and picks up a first down up to the Chargers' 45-yard line before cornerback Tim Foley runs him out. We've seen a little bit of everything in this ball game, except the Statue of Liberty.
Rick, you wonder how Hadel can have gone for 11 years now without missing a single offensive play, or not an offensive play, but a single game. To take chances like that, you think surely he's been hurt many, many times.
Well, he's a very durable quarterback, and you're right, Lou. He has never missed a ball game. Here's the snap. Hadel swings a screen to Edwards to the near side. He's at the 45, cuts back to his right, 50, shakes a tackle into Dolphins territory, and he's going to be gang tackled at the Dolphin 47-yard line. Sid Edwards, the receiver, the first man to hit him was linebacker Doug Swift. There's not quite enough for a first down, depending upon where they put the ball. Just inside the Dolphins' 47. They need about another yard. Second down and a yard on the pass completion of 9 yards from Hadel to Sid Edwards. Dolphins with a 24-3 lead. Earl Morrell has been the quarterback since midway in the first quarter when Bob Greasy was injured, taken to the hospital. Has thrown 2 touchdown passes to Twilley and Warfield. Dick Anderson recovered a fumble and ran the other one. Here's a handoff going to Garrett. He's not going to go anyplace. Over the left side, he did not get the yardage that he needed for the first down. At least it would appear so from here. Mike Garrett, as Bill Stanfield refused to let him get anyplace. And it'll be third down and less than a yard to go for a first down at the Dolphins' 46.
Rick, Stanfield and Fernandez are really having a contest out here this afternoon. See who can get the most tackles. And I'll tell you, they're really having good days, both of them.
All right, Hadel, with his ball club back in the huddle, has gone with Garrett and Edwards all day as the running backs. Dave Williams now in there, the wide receiver. He has splits to the near side. Here's the handoff going to Garrett, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage going across the right side, but falls forward for enough yardage to get the first down, I believe, to about the Dolphins' 44-yard line. He picks up the first down for San Diego. Just inside the 45 is where they mark it. Nick Bonaconti makes the tackle for Miami. Clock moving with 9 minutes and 25 seconds left to go. This is the third game in a 4-game road swing, all consecutive games for the Chargers. They've been on the road now for 3 weeks, and they wind it up against the Detroit Lions at Tiger Stadium next week. Dykes splits to the far side. Williams is the wide man to the near side. Edwards, here's the blitz coming, and Hadel moves to his right, fires deep down the far sideline. It is intercepted by the Dolphins. Back at the 12-yard line, moving to the near side of the field. At the 10 as Jake Scott finds a hole. 15 to the 20, and he's smacked down at the 21-yard line. What a run by Jake Scott after he picked that one off. The Dolphin zone sealed off. And Scott comes up with the interception back at the 12, and he actually ran about 30 yards trying to find a hole and gets it back out to the 21-yard line. So the Dolphin defense, as it has all afternoon, prevails again. And that for Jake Scott is his third interception of the season. There is a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score, our Dolphins 24, the Chargers 3. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Earl Morrell brings the Dolphins out following Scott's interception. Magnificent return out to the Dolphins 21. Kick and Zonka, the running backs. Warfield splits off the near side. Check it. Kick and Charlie Lee are the running backs now. Here's the handoff going to Kick. Tries to get the left side end turn. Cuts back to his right, and he's going to lose yardage to the 20-yard line. Didn't have too much blocking out in front of him that time. Right cornerback Leonard Dunlap coming over. Makes the tackle on the play. They lose a yard. Charlie Lee and Jim Kick are the running backs with 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Dolphins with a 24-3 lead. Twilley and Warfield remain the wide receivers. And Earl Morrell, of course, is the quarterback. Charlie is a 4-year veteran with no college background. Came to the Dolphins from the Cleveland Browns. Had a sensational preseason with punts and kickoff returns. Here is a handoff going inside. And a fumble on the play. Pete Lazatich comes up with it for for the San Diego Chargers. The handoff went to Charlie Lee, and Charlie hit inside, and the ball was jerked loose, and the middle linebacker, Lazatich, comes up with a recovered fumble at the Dolphins' 19-yard line. So that is unfortunate for Miami. Henry?
People may be wondering why Charlie Lee was in there instead of Larry Zonka. Larry got a bruised back, not the same place where he was bruised in the Minnesota game. It's up higher, up almost between his shoulder blades.
So the Dolphins turn it over, and the Chargers have a first down at the Miami 19-yard line. They've got Garrett and Edwards as the running backs. Hadel as Williams and Dykes as the wide receivers. Here comes Williams in motion to the near side. Hand off to Garrett. Pounds into the middle. Gets to the 15, and that's all. He's about beheaded by Manny Fernandez. And they're going to put it down at the 14. So give him a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5. Chargers ball at the Dolphins' 14-yard line. That is about the first mistake that Miami has made this afternoon that I can recall. A recovered fumble deep in their territory. Now the pressure is on the defense, as it has been all afternoon.
Rick, and really that ball was just stolen right out of Charlie's hands. Just taken right out.
All right, Williams comes to the near side as a wide receiver. Garrett and Edwards, the split-backs, in behind Hadel from the Dolphins' 14, a second down and 5. Here's the handoff to Edwards, a big hole in the middle inside the 10, and he is not knocked down until he gets to about the 8-yard line. Sid Edwards picks up a first down for the Chargers. Tim Foley and Mike Cullen make the tackle on the play. First down and goal for the Chargers at the Dolphins' 8-yard line. Coming into this ball game, Miami was tied with Cincinnati, just 5 points behind the Dallas Cowboys, as the second-best team against the score in the National Football League. They have not given up a touchdown in this ball game, but this recovered fumble has given the Chargers new impetus here with 6:35 left to go, and contact is made before the ball is snapped, and flags go down. Now we will see whether it's against San Diego. It appears from here as if it might be. For movement before the ball was snapped, the ball is put back to the 13-yard line. Illegal procedure. Walt Sweeney, the right guard, and Russ Washington, the right tackle, moved at the same time. Third quarter, Jets 21, Patriots 13. Third quarter, Chicago 10, Cleveland nothing. Those are updated scores. The ball back at the Dolphins 13 now with the first and goal situation from that point. They've got Dykes and Williams, double wide receivers to the far side of the field. In motion comes Dave Williams to the near side. Here's Hadel, hand off to Garrett inside, down to the 10, down to the 5, and squirts through down to the 4-yard line. As they ran a slant off the left side, tackled by Jake Scott. They put the ball down just inside the 5. So it'll be a second down and goal and about 5 yards to go for a touchdown. Malty Moore comes in, replacing Bob Matheson. And the Dolphins goal line defensive alignment. We have 6 minutes, 7 seconds to go. Dolphins with a 24-3 lead have lost Bob Greasy for a long, indefinite period with a dislocated and fractured ankle. Williams out of the huddle, splits to the far side. In the eye, Garrett and Edwards from the 5. Hadel on the snap. Drops the throw. He fires in the end zone. It is low, incomplete. It was intended for the tight end, Pettis Norman, and the ball was right, check it, John Mackey, right off his shoe tops. And he had no chance in the world as Hadel took one quick step back into the pocket and fired straight ahead in the end zone. And Mackey had no chance at it. The ball was thrown in the ground. A third down and goal situation from the Dolphins' 5-yard line. Mackey is... Have they got two tight ends in there, Al? No. Mackey is the tight end. Williams splits to the far side. To the near side comes Dykes. Edwards and Garrett are the split backs, and now Hadel hollers for the crowd to be quiet. And he gets the Miami raspberry, as you can hear from the crowd in the background.
Rick, all the teams throughout the league say that this stadium right now here in the Orange Bowl is like walking into a pit. And boy, I'll tell you, it must be terrible to be an opponent coming to the Orange Bowl play the Dolphins. They're great fans.
Colin comes into the ball game in the Miami defensive alignment. It'll be a third down and goal from the 5-yard line. Actually, the ball is just inside the 5. With 5:49 to go, the Dolphins leading 24-3, but more from a pride standpoint, the Dolphin defense wants to shut them out here. No touchdown. All right, out of the huddle they come. Williams splits to the far side. Dykes to the near side. Edwards and Garrett, the split backs, in behind John Hadel. Waiting for the snap. Hadel drops the throw. Fakes right. He fires in the end zone. It is tipped away. A flag is thrown. Interference is called in the end zone. The pass was intended for Dave Williams. The man who defensed the play was Tim Foley. Timed his jump over Williams' right shoulder at the last moment, but he was called for interference by the official on top of the play that prevented a touchdown. And it also gives the Chargers a first and goal situation at the 1-yard line, since the infraction is adjudged to have occurred in the end zone. Davey Williams was the receiver on a slant out to the far corner of the end zone, and Foley, in behind him, timed his jump, tipped the ball away, but the official ruled that he also touched the receiver illegally. So it is a first down and goal situation for the Chargers at the Dolphins' 1-yard line. To the near side as the wide receiver is Dave Williams. And Hadel again calls for quiet. And the officials go along with him. He cannot get his signals relayed to his teammates. So the game is halted as the fans set up a big howl. Clock is stopped with 5 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in this ball game. Henry?
Mercury Morris's leg injury may be a slight sprain. That's the assumption they're going under right now. And Mercury says that he probably won't play any more this game unless there's kick returns. Then he might possibly do it, but I doubt that they'll put him in. Also, the fans should know that the Dolphin players on the sidelines are signaling that they'd like for him to be quiet.
All right, out of the huddle they come. They split off Williams to the near side again. First and goal following the penalty at the Dolphin 1-yard line. Hadel sets his ball club. The fans set up the howl. Here's the snap. Goes to Garrett. He is hit and thrown for a loss. Trying to come over the left side. Now let's see where they mark the ball. He had no running room at all as the right side of that Dolphin defense was really in on top of him. They put it down at the 3-yard line. Doug Swift
and Foley tackled.
And Tim Foley in on the stop. The initial men to make contact. A loss of 2 back to the 3-yard line. Second down and goal from the 3. The Dolphins have had some good goal line stands. They had one against the Jets last week. It was a dandy. Let's see if they can do it again. Williams splits to the far side. Garrett and Edwards, the split backs in behind Hadel. Second and goal from the Miami 3-yard line. Hadel up under center, calls the signals on the snap, rolls back to his right, being rushed. He fires. It is caught by Edwards for a touchdown as Hadel was decked by Curtis Johnson as the Dolphins were sending the defensive secondary into the goal line defensive position. And Johnson didn't get to him in time. He lofted the ball to Sid Edwards on a slant out to the right side, and Edwards caught it for the touchdown. With 4 minutes and 56 seconds to go, John Hadel gets his 3rd touchdown of the season, and Sid Edwards on the pass gets his first as a receiver. Trying the point from placement is Bill McClard, and he gets the kick up there, and it is good. So with 4 minutes and 56 seconds left to play in the ball game, Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score are Dolphins 24 and the Chargers 10. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl, 24-10. To show you how tough that Dolphin defense was, 19 yards after the fumble recovery by Charlie Lee. Took him 6 plays, including an assistance on a pass interference call to get into the end zone. And the 1-yard touchdown pass from Hadel, 3-yard pass from Hadel to Edwards. Hubert Ginn is in with Mercury to Charlie Lee in place of Mercury Morris to receive this kickoff. Kickoff is back into the end zone, and it is grabbed by Ginn. He'll run it out. 10, 15 up the far side, across the 20, and he's out to the 22 before he's knocked off his feet. Bill McClard is the fellow who kicked that extra point and also kicked off for the Chargers, a rookie from Arkansas. Hubert Ginn runs the kickoff out to the 21 is where they put it down. Ray Jones made the tackle on the play.
At the 22.
So the Dolphins with the ball game, a 24-10 lead and 4:45 left to go. They'll try to put on another march here and at least keep the ball away from the Chargers. They've got Kick and Zonka in the offensive backfield, and Warfield spreads off to the far side. Twilley comes to the near side. Otto Stowe has not played this afternoon. Morrill is the quarterback. From the Dolphins' 21-yard line, here's the snap. The handoff to Kick. The sweep to the right, the left, rather, behind Kuchenberg, and he is going to be belted out of bounds on the far side of the field at about the 25-yard line by tackle Dave Costa. Cooch got out in front, got the block on the man, but Kick just barely got the corner turn for a gain of about 4 yards, and it'll be a second down and 6.
Jim ought to get in his shirt tail, Rick, because that's actually the way that Costa made that tackle. Grabbed that flapping shirt tail and held on to him.
We'll have all the scores for you on the World Series and other games on our scoreboard show, which follows our play-by-play this afternoon, and you're invited along the Dolphin Network and WIOD in Miami to join us right here at the Orange Bowl next Sunday for the Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills as the victory parade will continue. The ball at the Dolphins' 26. They gave him 5 on the carry. Second and 5. Morrill hands off inside to Kick. Finds a hole. Puts his head down and rams his way across the 30. Out to the 31. That'll be close to a first down. Leroy Caffey now in the ball game, playing at a linebacker for the Chargers, makes the tackle on the play. And Twilley comes out, and Mandich comes in. It'll be third down and less than a yard to go for a first down. The Dolphins have the two tight ends in there, Mandich and Fleming. The big thing to come out of this ball game, in addition to the Dolphins' fifth win, is the loss of Bob Greasy with that dislocation and the fracture of the ankle. And what kind of factor this will be as the season progresses, it cannot help the situation, but what kind of a factor it will be depends on the performances of the other players. Here's Zonka taking the handoff, going left and cutting back to his right, gets the first down out to about the 35-yard line. Larry Zonka, tackled by the weak safety, Joe Beauchamp.
Quick thinking on Zonka's part on that, Rick. He saw that he couldn't make it on the outside, so he cut up where there was a hole and made that first down, just enough to get it.
The ball at the Dolphins' 35-yard line, where it'll be a first down. Dolphins lead 24-10, 3 minutes and 8 seconds left to play in this contest before the largest capacity crowd to witness professional football in the Orange Bowl history, 80,010 or thereabouts. We have not received the official attendance as yet. From the 35-yard line, Morrill spins, hands the kick, follows Zonka through a hole on the right side, gets out to the 39-yard line before Leroy Caffey, a 10-year veteran who came to the Chargers from the Dallas Cowboys, makes the tackle. Chuck Detweiler also in on the stop. Out of the Dolphins' 39, Morrill keeping the ball on the ground, chewing up the time, the clock continuing to move with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Dolphins with a second down and 6. At our 39-yard line, Dolphins leading 24-10. We cannot say enough for the outstanding play of the Dolphin defense again today, and also the way that Earl Morrill has come in. A very tight situation and handle this ball club. Hand off the kick, sweep to the left. He's at the 40. Turns the corner across the 45 and gets a first down for the Dolphins out to the Miami 46-yard line. Joe Beauchamp makes the tackle from a safety spot. Bob Kuchenberg got a good block that time. Springing kick, and the ball is out at the 46-yard line in Dolphin territory. There is the 2-minute warning. Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score are Dolphins 24 and the Chargers 10. This is Rick Weaver with Lou Creekmer and Henry Barrow. Back at the Orange Bowl, some of the folks are starting to leave, and the Dolphins, with 2 minutes to go, have a first down. Really following our play-by-play, Lou Creekmer's interviews from the Dolphins dressing room, Henry Barrow from the Chargers dressing room, and the statistics, scores of other games on the scoreboard show follow that. Earl Morrill, the quarterback, with Kick and Zonka, the split backs behind him. Warfield and Twilley are the wide receivers. Warfield split to the far side, Twilley to the near side. Operating from the Dolphins' 46-yard line, here is the handoff going to Zonk, trying to hit the left side, and he is hit immediately. Dave Costa, the right tackle, has done a good job defensively for the Chargers this afternoon, makes the stop on the play. Now let's see where they put it down. They may or may not have gotten a yard. They'll give him a yard out to the 47-yard line, second down and 9. We'll also announce our Special Teams Award for this game on the Rolling Home Show. So we invite you to stay tuned for that, those of you who are listening on WIOD in Miami. Ball at the Dolphins' 47-yard line, a second down and 9 with 1 minute and 23 seconds to go. The Dolphins, having lost Bob Greasy, have won this ball game. The score now 24-10. Here's the handoff to Zonka. Starts left, can't find a hole, and he's thrown for a loss. Well, one of the few times this afternoon back at the 45-yard line, as Rick Redmond, the right side linebacker, was in on top of him and makes the tackle. Depth is so important in this game that is just played in the NFL, and time again, Dolphin reserves last year and this season have come through. You lose the starting quarterback, the premier quarterback, at least in my opinion, in all of football. It's going to be a big hole to fill. But thus far this afternoon, Morrill has been able to do the job. The ball back at the Dolphins' 45. It'll be third down and 11 with 38 seconds to go. Time for perhaps one more play as Warfield spreads to the far side, Twilley to the near side. The Dolphins have won this one, have achieved their 5th consecutive victory. On the snap, Morrill keeps himself, is going to run it down the near side. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's all before he is dropped by Bob Babbage. 19 seconds, and this will force a punting situation if they get it away as Seipel's punting unit comes on. Clock is moving. Neither club wants to stop it. Get it over with. 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 6 seconds. The Dolphins have won their 5th in a row, and now the official is signifying for a timeout taken by San Diego with 5 seconds left to play in the ball game. Oakland beat the Cincinnati Reds 2-1 in another tight pitching duel today in the World Series. Detweiler will be back as the deep man to field his punt, and Beauchamp is the shallow man. Our thanks to Fred Woodson for keeping stats and scores, to Al Bluth for an excellent job of spotting both teams, and to Mike Garrick for his invaluable assistance, especially in that first half, to Henry Barrow down on the field. Henry works with Mike, rather vice versa, every week. And Mike is instrumental in Henry's great calls down on the field with injuries and penalties, and they really had their hands full in that first half. Well, they're not going to punt it, and they just fall on the football, and flags go down as there was contact made, and the clock is stopped with 2 seconds to go. As they came out, the Dolphins had an inclination to send in the punting team, but during the timeout called by San Diego, they changed their minds, realizing it was fourth down and just falling on the football, but there were flags down, and so the game is kept alive as the clock is stopped with just 2 seconds to go. Penalized.
5 yards for offside.
Penalty against the Chargers, 5 yards for offsides, puts the ball in their territory at the 49-yard line with 2 seconds to go. This will be the final play of this ball game. The Dolphins have it won 24-10, with Buffalo coming in next week. The Dolphins rest the top of all the football with 5 wins and no losses. The handoff to Morrill, the snap to Morrill, he just falls on the ball, and the clock runs out. The game is over. The final score, our Dolphins 24 and the Chargers 10. We'll be back with a final wrap-up after these announcements. 13 times for 70 yards, and Mike Garrett had 22 rushes for 69 yards, so at least from our unofficial stats, Garrett will remain the AFC's rushing leader for this week, and will remain number 2. Kick carried the ball 15 times for 41 yards. Morris, mostly in the first half, 8 times for 44 yards. Warfield caught 2 passes for 38, and including a 19-yard touchdown flip from Earl Morrill. Twilley had 2 receptions for 41 yards and a touchdown pass of 18 yards from Morrill. Morrill did passing-wise, did a sensational job. The final score, our Dolphins 24 and the Chargers 10.